A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
You mind if I sit down?
Help yourself. It's a free country.
I brought you beer. Barney, the bartender, told me something about your problem.
Oh? Thanks for the beer.
Drink up.
Well, I suppose you'd think I'm out of my mind, but, well, maybe you'll be right. The bartender probably thinks I've flipped my lid. Listen, are you a doctor?
Nope.
Do you think I'm insane?
I'm not a doctor, and I haven't even heard your story yet. How can I tell?
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything that happened. Then you tell me if you think I'm all right. 2 hours ago, I was on Mars.
2 hours? How did you get here?
I don't know. That's the horrible thing. All I know is that the others were dead.
All of them? How do you know?
I saw them. I saw their bodies in the street. It was awful.
Now, wait a minute. You mean you're the last one? The last Martian?
Yes.
Well, that's a little hard to believe.
Listen, I was there. I was in this room in the city of Scar. I don't know why I was there, but I was. I was locked in. Then I got hungry, and there was nobody to bring me food. So I worked a stone out of the floor and started digging. It took 3 days. When I got out and reached the street, everyone was dead, lying in the open.
What did you do?
I took a Targan, an energy plane, and flew it to Xandar. Xandar is the biggest city, the capital. Every place, it was the same. Hundreds of thousands of bodies, lying in the fields, the streets, as if everyone had died at the exact same instant. At Xandar, in the stadium.
I'm listening.
In the stadium, there were 100,000 of them. As if they'd come there specially to die together. I landed my ship there.
In the stadium?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Well, there, in the stadium, they had built some sort of platform. On it was a column made of copper. Copper is a rare metal on Mars. And there was a push button.
Where?
In the copper column.
Oh.
And there was a Martian in a blue robe, a priest, right under the button. It was as though he'd pushed the button and died. And everybody else had died with him.
Except you?
Yes. All except me.
And then?
And then I was on a Madison Avenue bus, riding to work, here in New York.
Oh, now wait a minute.
Listen, I know you don't believe me. I know it sounds as if I was stark raving mad, but
take it easy, huh? You know what I think?
What?
You've had some sort of terrible shock.
Well, of course I have. There were 3 million of us, all dead.
I don't mean that kind of shock.
Of course, it was a dying world anyway. We didn't have more than 2 generations left. It was the krill.
What was the krill?
The disease. It reduced us to 1/30th of our population in 2 centuries.
These 3 million, and they died of the krill?
No. The krill kills slowly. These people died like that, with a push of a button.
Well, why didn't they escape?
We tried to develop space travel, but we couldn't. We couldn't even reach Deimos or Phobos.
Where are they?
Our moons.
Oh, I don't know too much about this stuff.
It was horrible.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you a question, Mr. Down?
Anything you like.
Well, if the Martians didn't develop space travel, how do you think you got here in New York City?
I don't know. It's driving me wild. I'm Yangan Dal, a Martian. And I'm here, in the body of an Earthman.
The body of an Earthman?
Of course. You don't think Martians look exactly like humans, do you? I'm 3 feet tall, weigh what would be 20 pounds here on Earth. I have 4 arms and 6 fingers on each hand.
Barney.
Yeah?
2 more beers, huh, with whiskey chasers?
Right.
Go on, Mr. Dahl. I don't mean to interrupt.
It frightens me.
Oh, I can understand that.
Here's your drinks. You want some help?
Thanks, Barney. Drink up, Mr. Dahl.
Thank you.
By the way, who is this Earthman whose body you've got?
Its name is Howard Wilcox.
Howard Wilcox, huh? I'll just write that down. Address?
It's in the wallet. 45 Amber Court.
Mm-hmm. This Howard Wilcox whose body you're in, does he have a family?
It is married to a female of this species, yes.
Well, have you been home?
No.
Then how do you know?
I have all of its memories. I can do everything it could do. I know everything it knows.
Oh, I see.
I even have its tastes.
Beer, for instance?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You have a job?
At the Humber Lamp Company, 34th Street.
Well, maybe you ought to call your wife.
No, It frightens me.
Why?
This body, it loves its wife. Let me buy us a round. There's money in these pockets.
Okay.
It's very good of you to listen to my story. Barkeep, another round, please.
Tell me, Mr. Dow, did you ever suspect before that you were a Martian?
Suspect? I am a Martian. Don't you understand?
Well, how did you get in here?
I told you this body was on its way to work on a Madison Avenue bus, and then I was inside it. It was thirsty, so it stopped for a drink. And I thought maybe the bartender could give me some advice. So I started talking. Don't you believe me?
Listen, Howard, you should be due home for dinner by now. Now, you're making your wife worry. Why not phone her?
I'm afraid.
What's there to worry about? Whether you're young and Dahl or Howard Wilcox is a woman sitting home worrying.
I suppose you're right.
Of course I'm right.
You're very understanding.
Oh, not at all.
You wouldn't want to come with me, would you?
Hmm?
I mean, I'm sort of afraid.
Well, it would look funny.
I could tell her you're an old school friend. We could have dinner. And then maybe I could get to know her.
You really want me to come?
Would you?
Let me make a phone call first, okay?
Fine.
I rang up the Tribune and got Cargan at the city desk.
City desk, Cargan.
Hi, Bill Everett.
Did you find him?
Uh-huh.
Well,
There's something strange about this guy.
you think he's insane?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Is he or isn't he?
Well, he's got the whole story so perfectly organized, he might even convince somebody it's true. He remembers every detail.
What do you figure you're going to do?
Well, I'm going home with him. I'm going to meet his wife and observe them.
How many drinks have you had?
Oh, I'm sober. Don't worry.
Me worry. Look, maybe you better come back here and I'll let Vincent handle this stuff.
No, that isn't necessary. Just let me tag along a while.
Okay. But if you want help, yell and I'll send Vincent.
I will. Don't worry.
What's this guy's name?
Howard Wilcox.
Address.
45 Amber Court.
Okay. Oh, and Bill,
Yes?
just remember one thing.
What's that?
You could be playing with dynamite. Watch your step.
Number 45 Amber Court was an apartment down in the village. We were met at the door by a pretty woman in dungarees with her black hair and a ponytail with a red ribbon. Let me handle it, okay?
I wish you would.
Howard, I was so worried.
This is Bill Everett.
I'm an old boyhood chum of your husband, Mrs. Wilcox. We met, and I asked Howard to have a few drinks, and I'm afraid it's all my fault.
Bill is having dinner with us.
If it isn't too much trouble.
Well, no, of course not.
Well, that's very generous of you.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I'd better start dinner. Howard,
Yes?
are you all right?
Why, yes. Fine.
You didn't kiss me.
Oh, well.
That's better. It's the first time in 11 years Howard hasn't kissed me when he came home.
Well, we stopped and had a few drinks. It was all my fault, really.
Look, just make yourself comfortable. I won't be long.
Do you think she suspects?
Of course not.
I'll have to tell her.
You want to wind up in an institution?
No, but I can't keep up this pretense.
Just set your mind to it. Now, after a while, it'll become natural. You'll forget that you ever were a Martian.
You do believe me, then, about being a Martian?
Of course.
Oh, that's good to know.
Now, look, whatever you do, don't tell your wife. It would ruin her life.
I'll try not to tell her.
Try very hard. Now, don't tell anybody.
You and the bartender know, of course.
Well, we'll keep it quiet. Don't worry.
Good.
Do you think you can carry it off?
I'll try.
Good boy. Now, tell you what. If you get into any kind of trouble, I mean, if you just have to talk to somebody about it, give me a call, Here, at this number. Now, if I'm not in, you leave a message with my boss. His name is Cargan.
Cargan.
You promise?
I promise.
Fine.
You're very kind. This body... I've never met anybody so kind here on Earth.
Forget it.
Well, what have you two been discussing so secretly?
Just business.
Oh, I'm sorry about being late, dear.
Well, you might have phoned. After all, you were only a few blocks from the house. It isn't as if you were on Mars or someplace.
Dinner went pretty well. And Elaine Wilcox turned out to be an expert at shish kebab, which is one of my favorites. After dinner, I still had a couple of hours to put in at the paper, so I went back. Cargan came over to me right away.
Well?
Well?
Is he or isn't he?
He's a Martian, all right. No question about that.
You're very funny.
I have my moments.
Would you mind telling me exactly where you've been for 3 hours? And what you've been doing?
I talked to Yangan Dao. That's his Martian name. Then we had dinner at his home. Very nice. Shish kebab.
What about the story?
Oh, yeah, the story. Well, it seems that he was locked in a room in the city of Scar. And he got out and saw all the dead bodies of the entire Martian population. Then he flew to the Capitol and saw a button that a priest had pressed, and the next thing he knew, he was inside an Earthman named Howard Wilcox riding a Madison Avenue bus. Want me to write it up?
Is that all you've got to tell me?
That's all. Listen, this guy's going to be perfectly all right as soon as he gets used to the idea that he's Howard Wilcox.
He is, I suppose you're a qualified psychiatrist?
Well, I'm qualified to judge this.
I'd better send Vincent over there.
There's no need for that.
I have a distinct feeling you've let your emotions get into the act.
Well, what's wrong with emotions?
They don't belong in this business.
Look, Cargan, this is a decent enough guy. He's a little bewildered, maybe. Now, why not let him live out his life in peace?
He may be dangerous.
Don't you trust my judgment?
We can't afford to pass up anything important.
Oh, you're exaggerating.
Maybe. Vincent.
Yes, Mr. Cargan.
I want you to do a follow-up on a story that Bill has started. A man named Howard Wilcox who thinks he's a Martian.
Oh?
Bill has the address.
Now, if anything happens to this guy, there are liable to be questions and accusations.
Vincent can handle that end of it.
You want the full treatment on this story, Mr. Cargan?
If you think the man is a menace, give him the full treatment.
Okay, Mr. Cargan.
I gave Vincent the address, feeling like a murderer, and then I beat it to the nearest phone booth and called Howard Wilcox's home. His wife, Elaine, answered.
Yes?
Well, Mrs. Wilcox, this is Bill Everett again.
Oh, did you forget something?
No, I have something to tell you, and it may sound a little weird, but bear with me.
Oh, what is it?
A man from my newspaper is coming over. His name is Vincent. Now, he's a big, ugly man with a scar on his lip.
He's coming over here?
He's on his way now.
Well, what for?
Well, that's the part you aren't going to believe, Mrs. Wilcox.
Well, try me and see.
He's going to murder your husband.
I'm afraid I didn't hear you.
I said he's coming over to murder your husband.
You and Howard did do quite a bit of drinking.
I'm trying to do you a favor. Now, listen to me.
I'm listening.
Send him away. Tell him Howard had to leave town. Do you hear me?
I hear you, but really...
Please, Mrs. Wilcox, if your husband means anything to you.
Well, of course he does, but why not call the police?
They'll laugh at you. I'm coming right over. I'll explain when I get there. And remember, your husband's life depends on this. I didn't know whether I'd convinced her or not. It all sounded so terribly melodramatic. Anyway, I hopped into a cab and told him to use a heavy foot on the gas pedal, and about 15 minutes later, I arrived at 45 Amber Court.
Oh, it's you.
Was Vincent here?
There was a man here from the Tribune, yes.
Did you do as I told you?
Well, I got Howard out of the house. I sent him out for some mozzarella cheese and gave him a couple of places that don't carry it.
What'd Vincent say?
I told him Howard wouldn't be back in town till tomorrow. He said he'd be back.
Did he say what he wanted?
Just that he had some good news for my husband.
Some good news. May I come in?
I wish you would. I want to know what this is all about. Sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you mind explaining?
You won't believe me.
You keep saying that.
Okay, Mrs. Wilcox. Your husband, Howard, is a Martian.
A Martian?
That's right.
I see. And when did you discover this about my husband?
This morning.
Would you mind telling me just when he arrived? From Mars, that is.
This morning.
You don't say.
Told you wouldn't believe me.
Oh, I haven't said that yet. You're sure Howard is a Martian?
Yep. He claims to be the last Martian. Look, see if I can make it clear. There was a plague sweeping Mars. Now, they devised a means of transporting their intellects through space to Earth. Their dead bodies remained behind. Now, Howard, your husband, was confined in an institution, so he didn't get to go with the other Martian souls. He dug his way out and went to the capital city where the energy machine was located.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there was enough left to send his intelligence down here, where it landed in the body of one Howard Wilcox.
How did you find this out?
He told me.
Mr. Everett, if you don't mind, I'm rather tired. First you tell me someone's going to murder Howard, then you tell me he's the man from Mars. I'd like to get some rest, if you don't mind.
I'm trying to convince you your husband is in danger.
If Howard is a Martian, just why did your Mr. Vincent want to kill him?
Because Mr. Vincent is a Martian, too.
Uh-huh. I suppose the editor of the Tribune is also a Martian?
No, not the editor, just the editor of the city desk.
And you, Mr. Everett, are you a Martian, too?
Matter of fact, yes.
Good night.
Just won't see it, will you?
Good night, Mr. Everett.
Okay, I tried my best.
Martians, indeed. Oh, Howard, thank heavens.
I couldn't get the mozzarella.
It doesn't matter. Tell me, Howard, are you a Martian?
What? Why, yes. How did you know?
Oh, woman's intuition. It's terribly late, dear. Let's turn in.
No, not yet. I want to know how you knew I was a Martian.
Howard, please, I've had just about enough of this nonsense today.
It isn't nonsense to me. Only this morning I was Yang Gandal, a Martian. Now I'm in the body of your husband.
Is this a joke you and your friend Mr. Everett invented to torture me? Because if it is...
It isn't a joke. It's the truth.
Howard, I just can't stand much more of this. I'm beginning to wonder if it's me. Who could that be at this hour?
I'll answer it. Yes?
You are Mr. Howard Wilcox?
Yes?
My name's Vincent. I'm a reporter from the Trib.
Yes?
May I come in?
Yes.
Who is... Oh, Mr. Vincent.
I see your husband has unexpectedly returned from out of town, Mrs. Wilcox.
Now, look here.
Would you mind telling me why you lied to me?
Yes, I would.
Does it have anything to do with the fact that you know your husband's secret?
What secret?
That he is Yang Gandal, a Martian.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you do.
Why is there such concern? I am Yang Gandal. I am a Martian. The last Martian, as far as I know.
That is where you're wrong, Mr. Wilcox.
Wrong.
You see, there are many of us.
Many? Like me?
Hundreds of thousands. We were teleported to Earth during the Great Migration and found ourselves, like you, inside human beings.
But then I'm not alone. You do understand my position.
Perfectly.
I can establish contact. We can remember our old home.
Unfortunately, no.
I don't understand.
Sadly enough, young Gandal, you were considered mentally ill on Mars. Ill enough so that you were institutionalized.
But...
Here on Earth, a person like you represents a distinct threat to us.
How do I threaten you?
You're unstable. You may give us away. That would spoil it.
Spoil what?
Our plan.
Plan?
You have not heard of the plan?
I heard of no plan. I was in an institution.
Yes. You are certain now?
Of course. What plan?
If you knew, I would have been forced to destroy you. You've just saved your own life, young and dull, and that of Howard Wilcox as well.
What are you going to do?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Aren't you afraid that I'll do something?
Such as?
Tell people my husband is a Martian.
Really, Mrs. Wilcox, you know better. You'd be laughed at or sent to the nearest psychiatric clinic. No, we aren't at all concerned with the fact that people will betray our presence here on Earth. I'm sure you can appreciate the reaction if you were to phone the police and tell them that the Trib reporters are all Martians.
Well, not all. Just the city editor and yourself and Mr. Everett.
How did you know that?
Perhaps I'm one myself, Mr. Vincent.
It isn't possible.
Why not?
Are you? Tell me where you were born. What city?
I was born in Undanel near the dead canal of Krilla.
Your name?
Zanat Cree.
You are party to the plan?
The plan to take over the Earth? Of course.
Your husband, young and dull. Why did you not inform him?
For the same reason you did not. He is unstable. But there is no need to worry. I will care for him.
Amazing.
Now, would you mind leaving us alone? We have many things to discuss.
Of course. Amazing. Positively amazing.
I was standing in Barney's bar having a double scotch on the rocks when Vincent came in looking like a man who spent the last 3 hours in a KitchenAid mixer with the dial on Fluffy. He came over and ordered without so much as look at me.
Here it is, Mr. Vincent.
Thanks.
You okay?
Sure.
By the way, did you fellas take care of that crackpot who was in here this afternoon, the one who thought he was a Martian?
Sure.
Just a drunk, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Wouldn't you say so, Bill?
Oh, definitely.
Well, here's to you, Barney. Sometimes you can't tell the Martians from the Earthmen. You know?
It's getting to be that way, Mr. Vincent. Right, Bill?
That's right, Barney. Integration. That's what it is. I gave Barney a sly wink and lifted my glass along with Vincent. Of course, Barney understood. You see, he's one of us, too.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Alan Cogan's story, Nothing But the Best, which tells about a strange mix-up in time and place. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Last Martian, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Frederick Brown and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Mandel Kramer, Elliot Reed, Santos Ortega, Ralph Bell, John McGovern, and Patricia Wheel. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Go to the conventions with NBC Radio beginning Monday, August 13th.
When the Gregory party was allowed the freedom of the strange underwater colony known as Euclidia, their first view was of an immense cave or cavern, a mile in width and half a mile high. The most surprising thing about this cavern is the naturalness of everything. Tall trees and green grass, growing just as they do in the everyday world, while cows, pigs, and chickens make the weird surroundings almost natural. This can't go on forever on Euclidia, and our friends soon feel more as they did on their first visit to the island. Jerry is taken away for a conference with G47, and Mrs. Gregory, her daughter Joan, and Captain Bradford are taken to witness an experiment in the laboratory of Cheops, the builder. The captain is speaking as they stand outside this room.
It doesn't matter what we've seen on this place before. There's always something more surprising waiting for us.
You were impressed, were you not, Captain, with Cheops' demonstration of the tempered copper?
I should think that anyone would be impressed, my dear.
Yes, Joan, the art of tempering copper was lost somewhere, along with a lot of other wonderful things those old Egyptians had done. And ever since that time, men have been trying to find the secret.
Even his name seems unnatural. Cheops, whom the Egyptians called Khufu. I can almost imagine this man standing by the newly completed Great Pyramid, proudly looking at his handiwork.
You allow your imagination too much scope, Mother. This man has merely taken the name of Cheops, as he is the master builder of Euclidia.
We know that, Joan, but at the same time, it's more than a coincidence. This man should have taken the secrets of the ancient builder along with his name.
I've seen enough of this for a while. Let's walk around this passageway and try to find some more natural things to look at. The sight of you standing on that thin sheet of copper as solidly as you might have stood on a concrete foundation was a little too much for me.
It was indeed remarkable. That copper was so thin that it seemed almost to float in the air. Yet when the edges of it were firmly held, it supported your weight.
I wish Jerry could have seen that.
He's probably seeing plenty where he is now.
I wonder what G47 will do to him.
He will not harm Jerry, I think.
Possibly not, but I wish he were here with us.
Okay, here I am.
Oh, Jerry.
Jerry, you startled me.
Well, you're getting to be a regular Euclidean, son. Where did you come from?
Oh, through one of those noiseless steel panels, just like the rest of the Euclideans do it.
The rest of the Euclideans?
Oh, sure. My dad always said, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So I'm going to try it on Euclidia.
Well, it works all right, but we haven't quite accustomed ourselves to these poppings in and out of doors.
I do not like the thought of you being a Euclidean, Jerry.
Oh, what's wrong with that? You were one for a long time, and you thought it was all right.
This is different. You are so much a part of your world. You would not be convincing as a member of this colony.
Nevertheless, Joan, it looks as if we're all going to be members, whether we want to or not.
It sure does. And it looks like it more than ever now.
What's happened now, Jerry?
Well, nothing much has happened that we didn't figure was going to happen. But old G47 made it mighty plain to me that from now on, we're going to do just exactly what these Euclideans tell us to do.
Did he threaten you?
No, he just talked to me. You know him. The old guy's a pretty interesting talker when he isn't trying to scare you.
What did you learn?
Well, we're all got to go to work.
Work?
Yeah.
What sort of work?
Oh, we can take our choice about that. But we've all got to do something around this underwater city. G47 said that everybody works here, and we'd have to do the same thing.
Did he not indicate the type of employment which was to be delegated to each of us?
No, he didn't tell me what our jobs would be either.
Jerry, you understood me perfectly.
Now, hold it, you two. Let's don't fight yet.
No, please. We must keep our minds on the possible meaning of Jerry's news until we decide what steps to take.
Was any particular qualification given you, Jerry? I mean, did G47 mention what services we might be required to give?
No, not much. I try to get a job with the cows. Well, I know how to milk a cow, and I'd like to stay in this room where all the green grass and the trees are. But nothing doing.
I imagine that job is filled long ago. They've been using milk from these cows for a long time.
Yeah, and they've got automatic milkers, too. But it needs somebody to watch them all the time. And guess who's got that swell job?
Well, it couldn't be McLeod. He's waiting on the pigs.
And the old skipper's gathering the eggs from the chickens.
That exhausts the personnel of our party, Jerry. It could not be anyone you would know.
Oh, is that so? Well, it is. The new milkman who watches the machines milk the cows is Jim Lowe.
Jim Lowe?
Jerry, not the Chinese cook from our own boat.
Yep, the Chinese cook's got the job.
Does he understand his duties?
The nearest that Chinese ever got to a cow was opening a can of condensed milk.
Yes, he has the job. What a place this is. Are we to choose our occupations and report, or what is our procedure, Jerry?
Well, we can go around and pick out our own jobs after we watch the eruption.
Eruption? Of what?
Well, the volcano.
Jerry, you mean the crater where the island of Euclidia is located?
Yeah, well, I guess it must be there.
There's going to be an eruption of that old volcano.
That's what G47's getting ready for. He said we could go up to the top of this room and watch it through the transparent seawall.
How far are we from the base of that crater?
I think not more than 200 feet, Captain.
Then we're not going to watch the eruptions if we can help it.
There's more to this, isn't there, Jerry?
Well, sure there is, if you'll all give me a chance to tell it.
You wasted time discussing our future occupation.
Yes, and if that volcano thing is on the level, we may not need any future occupation.
Well, that eruption is going to be artificial, and G47 is going to pull a switch that sets it off.
An artificial eruption that will create a disturbance on the surface. There must be a good reason for that.
There is.
I should think so. That'll destroy the island.
Oh, no, it won't. You see, they pulled the island way down into the bottom of the crater. It won't get hurt a bit.
Did G47 tell you all of this, Jerry?
Yeah, and he told me a whole lot more. But we'd better be getting up there if we want to see this.
All right, son. You can discuss as we go along. Come on, Pat and Joan. Do we go up this way, Jerry?
Yeah, right up this twisting runway. I guess it comes out in some sort of a transparent walled room from what old G47 said.
Well, what's it all about?
Well, they're going to set off a lot of inflammable bombs. There's a lot of ships cruising around over here, taking soundings and trying to locate the island.
What ships, Jerry?
Well, they wouldn't tell me that. But I got an idea there are boats from more than one country that's rushed down here to try to save us.
And now they'll never know we're here underwater.
I guess that's about the size of it, Pat. When they take all the soundings they want, they'll find nothing but the crater of an extinct volcano in a submerged mountain.
And those bombs exploding will create the impression the volcano is active again.
Then all those ships will be driven away, thinking we have all been lost at sea.
Well, what's worse than that? Everybody will think we didn't know what we were talking about.
Yes, Jerry, I understand. There isn't any island at the position we gave.
There sure isn't. At least not where they'll be looking for it. Well, I'm sorry, folks, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if those ships up there represent our last chance to communicate with the outside world.
If there were only some way to warn them, to let them know that we are down here, 400 feet below the water level, and that the island is submerged beneath the base of the crater over 200 feet below the surface.
Well, if we could get our hands on a radio set out of some kind, I'd take a chance and send a message out.
And you know perfectly well that you will never be allowed to approach anything that resembles a method of communication.
It would not be natural to allow us to send messages which would expose the secrets of the Euclideans.
You're right enough about that, Joan. The thing I feel the worst about is that the news will be flashed all over the world that we were all wrong, that the Magic Island never existed, that the position we gave is really an active submarine volcano.
Well, there's plenty of people who have sailed over here before. Well, they know there wasn't any volcano here then.
That makes it worse, Jerry. It will bring them to the conclusion that an island possibly existed, but that the volcanic eruption has destroyed the island and probably taken us with it.
That is logical, Mother. Though surely some of the charts of this locality must show the existence of the submerged mountain we are now inside of.
Afraid not, Joan. Euclidean and its magnetism have been around here too long. All the charts of this position are wrong. The mountain isn't shown on any of them.
Well, we can't help it now, so we might as well watch what goes on. I guess this is the door we go through.
It is at least the end of the passageway.
Careful, Jerry. That may be the wrong door.
No, G47 said to come up to the top of this runway and to open the door. This is the only thing I can see that looks like a door.
Do you think this must be the one he meant? Well, go ahead, Jerry.
Well, I'm trying to, but it doesn't want to open. No, nothing doing.
You should not have to pound on the door, Jerry. If we were supposed to enter here, the door would open easily.
Joan's right. There's a mistake someplace.
Well, let's forget about it. I'd feel safer if we weren't any too close to this wall when those explosions take place.
Well, looks like we can't get in here, so we might as well go back down. Those Euclideans are going to watch this thing from somewhere. And if we can find that place, we can watch it too.
We have not much time, have we?
Well, G47 didn't say how soon they were going to start manufacturing this eruption. But the way he hurried me out of his room gave me the idea it would be pretty soon.
Well, then let's go back down. We passed several panels that look like doors on our way up here. Maybe some of them can be opened.
I'd just as soon not open any doors. After all, the ocean is on the other side of this wall.
What was that sound?
It sounded like an earthquake to me.
The bombs. I'll bet they've started them.
Yes, there's another one. Tex, I felt this steel wall quiver.
Now, Pat.
Well, I did. Can't you feel the floor trembling?
Yeah, I can. This isn't so good. Come on.
I believe it is time to leave this place.
Maybe so, but there must be someone around here watching this eruption. I'd like to see how they do it.
Oh, Tex, please, come along.
Oh, very well, Pat, but there isn't any danger. These Euclideans built things too well for that.
It is possible, however, that they have not anticipated the stress and strain accompanying these explosions.
Oh, sure they have. G47 told me he had the idea of using fake explosions in that old volcano for protection long before these walls were built.
Well, whatever it is, we're in danger. That noise is steadily increasing.
Hurry, you fools.
G47, what's happening?
These chambers are to be flooded.
Flooded?
Oh, I felt something was wrong.
But G47, did you not tell Jerry to bring us up here?
Will you hurry out of here? No. I told Hall to take you to the top of the other passageway. This is a pressure channel. We must fill it with water to withstand the pressure of these explosions. Otherwise, Euclidia will be flooded, and you stupid fools will have the lives of everyone here in danger.
Gee, I'm sorry I made a mistake.
You certainly made a big one.
Do not blame Jerry. This would confuse anyone.
I certainly couldn't tell one passageway from another.
Silence, you stupid fools. Go, hurry. Take yourselves down this incline as rapidly as possible. Go.
What about you, G47?
Go.
Come on, everybody. We'd better move faster than this.
G47 has gone back into that upper chamber.
What if he's caught in there and can't get out?
I guess he's too smart for that.
G47 would think only of saving the colony. He would make no effort to save his own life.
He's just like that, all right.
You three go on down this ramp. I'll go back and see if I can help you.
No, Tex, don't be foolish. Why should you try to save that man's life?
Our lives wouldn't be worth much without him.
You are right, Captain. All of our lives depend on G47.
You're too late now. Run, everybody. That wall's going to cave in. Come on. Let's get out of here.
One by one, the members of the Gregory party have seen various portions of the huge Euclidean city below the sea. In one of the vast natural caves, which the Euclideans have improved and strengthened, Mrs. Gregory and Joan are waiting anxiously for Captain Bradford and Jerry Hall. We last saw the captain and Jerry making a vain attempt to rescue G47 from the swirling waters rushing in upon them, as a series of explosions rocked the walls of the cavern. A steel door has slammed shut, cutting off their view of the flooded passageway, and Mrs. Gregory and Joan stand helplessly waiting for someone to appear. The explosions are still being heard in the distance.
I think we should try to get in there, Joan.
No, Mother, that is foolish.
But Tex is in that passageway and Jerry.
You cannot help by getting hysterical. G47 and the captain will do everything possible to save themselves, and Jerry as well.
But if we opened that door, we might get them out.
And if we opened that door, the waters of the ocean would rush in and flood this entire city. Every life in Euclidia would be lost.
And we are just going to stand here and do nothing?
That is not wise either. Let us go to a higher level in one of the other passageways.
Very well. But it's so useless, just a waste of time.
We do not know that. Come, let us walk as rapidly as possible.
This is one time when the all-wise Euclideans got a little taste of their own medicine. Their cleverly designed volcanic eruption is just as apt to destroy their city as it is to drive away any boats on the surface of the water.
I know the Euclidean thoroughness of planning much better than you, Mother. It is only a remote possibility that misfortune has befallen G47.
Even if he could manage to escape, what of Jerry and the captain?
The captain's life is very valuable to G47 until his formula is secured for the Euclideans. If G47 is safe, Jerry and the captain are also safe.
I hope you're right, Joan, dear. But I can't feel very cheerful about it.
I think we will soon have information of a more definite nature. Is this not Cheops approaching us?
It looks like him, and he's in a hurry.
He does appear to be excited, and that is not like one of the scientists.
If they've had bad luck with their artificial volcanic eruption, you may see a number of these Euclideans jarred out of their irritating smugness.
It is Cheops, the master builder, who approaches us.
Ah, there you are. Come, Cleaster. Come, Mrs. Gregory. You will follow me.
Follow you where?
Do you not know enough of Euclidean procedure to refrain from questioning the actions of Cheops?
Come, Mother. We will follow Cheops. He may lead us to something of interest, and surely anything is preferable to our present state of uneasiness.
You have retained something of our teachings, Cleaster.
Oh, very well. I won't forget your greatness or my extreme humility in your presence. But I would like to know if you have any information as to whether the captain and Jerry Hall escaped that flooded chamber.
I have no information, and am not interested in securing any. Their absence fails to annoy me as greatly as their presence would.
G47 is with them.
What?
G47 is in that flooded chamber with the captain and Jerry.
Then come. We must hasten to the control room. Come with me, that you may show me the point at which they were last seen.
You're excited enough now.
Naturally. G47 must be saved.
But I don't agree with you as to that. But as you'll probably be forced to save Tex and Jerry at the same time, we'll help you.
I think we are now at the same level as the corridor they were imprisoned in.
That is well. We will enter this control room. From here we may command a view of the surface through our prism reflectors. Enter.
What a remarkable room. It looks almost like a small moving picture theater.
That is rather a good description of it. On the steel wall before you, you will see moving objects, which are indeed similar to your motion pictures. But these articulated views are in the fourth dimension and are direct reproductions of the actions now taking place on the surface of the water. I will establish contact at once. Observe that wall.
Mother, look.
Yes, Joan, I'm watching.
There are a number of shadows appearing on that wall.
They're taking shape. Joan, those shadows are ships, big ships.
You are observing the movements of the various vessels rapidly leaving this position. Apparently, they have no liking for active volcanoes as an anchorage.
Those are the ships which came to rescue us?
Yes, Joan, dear. Tex didn't tell you and Jerry all his plans, as he didn't want to raise your hopes and possibly have them dashed. But the ships you see sailing away, obviously under forced draft, are light cruisers and destroyers from several of the largest nations in the world.
There you have it, Mrs. Gregory. 7 heavily armed vessels from 7 powerful nations in your puny world have followed your directions to the location of Euclidia. They found no island at that position, but they did find an active volcano. So these brave ships are sailing away, quite satisfied that if there ever was an island here, it has been destroyed by the eruption. Your friends have made their last attempt to rescue you, and Euclidia now numbers your party among its permanent residents.
Oh, Joan, dear.
I'm so sorry, Mother.
All of those countries helping so splendidly to search out and destroy this mad place to bring peace and safety to the world, only to have their plans overthrown by an artificial volcanic eruption.
Mother, look! Watch that wall.
There are new shadows appearing on it.
You will observe those shadows carefully. The view you now have is being transmitted through a steel wall beyond this room. You are viewing the pressure channel from which you escaped, and within which G47 and your friends are now confined.
Joan, Tex, Jerry, that place is full of water. Their bodies are pressed against the ceiling.
Mother, you must not allow yourself to act this way.
But Tex and Jerry...
If you will retain your mental balance for a moment, Mrs. Gregory, and give all your attention to the projection before you, you will note that there is at least 2 inches of space between the faces of these men and the ceiling of that corridor.
Yes, Mother. Do you not observe that?
Yes, I see that now. And I suppose a good swimmer might have floated on his back and continued to breathe easily in that still water.
Precisely.
But the pressure, the air pressure would be unbearable.
It would indeed, if it were not for the fact that I, Cheops, the master builder, designed that room, and others which serve the same purpose. The ceiling is of porous steel, permitting air to escape at a lower pressure than is harmful to the human body.
Then they're all right?
Of course they are, Mother. If Cheops isn't worried about G47, you may be sure Jerry and the captain are quite safe.
Precisely. Now, if you will continue to watch those shadow vision images, you will observe the water level receding as I advance this control.
How soon will they be free?
Watch and ask no questions.
Mother, the water is receding.
Yes, it is. Rapidly, too. And I can see all 3 of the men moving in the water.
They're all perfectly safe now.
That water is going down rapidly. Now Jerry is turning over to swim.
Note the look of relief that comes over his face.
Oh, I don't blame him. Now Tex and G47 are both turning over. Their feet will soon touch the floor. Oh, Joan, I'm so glad.
It will be a matter of less than 120 seconds until your friends will be free to enter this room.
2 minutes. That's a wonderful performance, Cheops.
The secrets of the builders of the Great Pyramids have come down through the ages to me. The building of a simple room such as that one is child's play to me.
That's something I want you to explain to me when you have time, Cheops. Did your namesake actually build pyramids?
Mrs. Gregory, your attempt at humor is in very poor taste, as my displeasure would mean your life.
Please, Mother, do not anger him.
I didn't mean to. And my question was perfectly sincere. Our educational system has conflicting testimony rather generously scattered through it. One of the most recently discussed theories is that Khufu, or Cheops, did not build the Great Pyramid. In fact, modern science is striving to prove this.
You are not deliberately attempting to antagonize me? You are sincere?
Perfectly sincere. In my library at home, I have no less than 6 volumes, all accepted as authority by recognized historians. And no 2 of the 6 agree, even reasonably, as to the time of the building of the Great Pyramid. the part Cheops played in this building, or even the fact that this was the first pyramid.
So, those conditions of confusion and ignorance actually exist in your world. I have been told as much about the Western world, but it seemed incredible. We of the East are definite in our ancient history, even in the everyday world. You have aroused my interest. At some future time, I will be glad to demonstrate my proofs as to the actual building of the Great Pyramid. For the present, I may tell you briefly that Cheops was the builder of the Great Pyramid, which was also the first pyramid. He started work in the year 3949 BC, when but 20 years of age, and completed it in 20 years. The Sagara, commonly called the Step Pyramid, was not started until 3000 BC, 8 years after the death of Cheops, and 29 years after the completion of the Great Pyramid of Cheops.
Is that satisfactory to you, Mother?
More than that, it's amazing. And I'm beginning to wonder just how many things we accept in our world that may be poorly stated to us.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, Jerry.
Oh, Mother, is it Jerry?
Sure is. And boy, have we had some experience.
Young man, do you realize you have rushed unbidden into one of the most carefully guarded rooms in Euclidia?
Oh, nobody was guarding when I came in. Hey, you been watching moving pictures here?
Well, something like that. Where is Tex?
You will leave immediately. All of you. Get out. Get out.
Mother, come. Cheops is angry.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry I busted in here like that. But if you only knew what happened to
We
us.
know, Jerry, but let us leave at once and discuss it out in the corridor.
Yes, meddling fools. Leave at once.
Well, I guess we can talk out here all right. I didn't mean to make the old guy mad.
Forget it, Jerry. That's just his Euclidean temperament. But how is Tex?
Oh, he's okay. He went with G47 to look at those ships on the surface. Through some kind of a periscope, I guess.
Through prism reflectors, Jerry. We have just seen the ship sail away.
Yeah, I guess the volcano eruption these guys put on sure scared them away. But give me a chance to tell us what happened to us. When Tex and I rushed back into the hallway after G47, the water started coming in.
We have seen all that, Jerry.
Huh? You what?
That's right, Jerry. Cheops took us into the room where you found us, and with some very wonderful equipment, which he referred to as prism reflectors, he showed us the room in which you were floating on the top of the water.
Yes, Jerry, and we could see that you had very little space in which to breathe.
Well, all that's over now, and we're all right. The important thing is those ships that were looking for the island.
I'm afraid that's all over, too, Jerry.
It is indeed all over.
Yeah, they're gone. And right now, I'll bet their radios are telling the world that the Magic Island was destroyed by that volcano.
If they will even believe there was an island, Jerry.
Now step into the incredible, amazing future as we go exploring tomorrow. And now here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell, Jr.
For many years, a lot of us have been interested in considering the possibilities of meeting other life forms, other intelligent beings from other stars. Now, if there is life out there, some form of life, and remember, it may be beyond our most far-fetched imaginations. If there is life, and we have our own Earth ships going out in constant, regular deep space exploration, someday, somewhere, maybe even out in the gas cloud of the Crab Nebula. Sometime we will meet.
Step it up. Step it up, the scanner. Maximum. Maximum magnification. Maximum mag. More. Sorry, sir. Max is max. You see? Can you see? Now, visibly. Quarter it.
Quarter, sir.
Step up the scanner. Step it up. Don't you understand? I've got to see. Nothing. According to the reading, Captain, nothing, sir. Sir, Captain, hold it. On the bow quarter.
Huh? Solid object.
80,000 miles, sir. 1 o'clock. Unknown object changing. 12 o'clock. Sound collision. Make ready, Mr. Dort.
Now hear this. The captain will now address the ship. First, you've heard the collision alarm. You will all now take action stations. Man all weapons. Condition of extreme alert. Red. I repeat, red in all departments. Instrumentation tells us there is an unknown solid object less than 80,000 miles dead as we go. There is a locator beam on us. I repeat, there is an unknown locator on us, giving us unexpected feedback echo. Men, we are not a warship. May the Almighty be with us. That is all.
Mister? Nothing, sir. Now I see nothing on the busy place. But radio locator. Here, look at it, sir. Up and down. Something monstrous. Monster in size, sir, making lunatic dashes toward us. At collision speed. Then skipping away at the same fantastic speed.
We are not a warship.
Here it comes. There it goes away again. All on radio locate. On busy plate by eye, nothing. Can't detect a thing.
How many solar systems in our galaxy? How many? How many planets fit for life? And how many kinds of life could there be? If this ship isn't from Earth, and it isn't, it has a crew that isn't human. And things that aren't human but are up to the level of deep space travel in their civilization could mean anything.
Yes, sir.
Something like this has been talked about and speculated about for years. Mathematically, it's been an odds-on bet that somewhere in our galaxy there'd be another race with a civilization equal to or further advanced than ours. Nobody could ever guess where or when we'd meet them. It looks like we've done it now.
Well, do you suppose they'll be friendly, Captain?
Thank the Almighty for the blasters.
Here they come in for us fast again, sir.
Oh, pulling away again. Yes, I can read the beam.
If you'll pardon, sir, the blasters are for meteorites, sir. They were never, were they? Designed as space weapons?
They can serve as pretty good ones. Because we don't know what they're like, you fool! And we can't take a chance. We can't trust them the fraction of an inch. Sure, I know. Let's try and find out all we can about them. Let's meet. Let's try to be friends with that ship out there. Well, we don't. And you realize why? Because they have locators. Because they might trace us all the way back home without our knowing it. And we can't risk a non-human race knowing where Earth is unless we're sure of them. And how can we be sure? Do you know, Mr. Dort? Do you know, Mr. Dort, with your sentimental Pollyanna slush pile that calls itself your brain, your mind?
Unidentified object retreating against our locator, sir.
Back and forth. Back and forth, the game goes on. They're afraid. We're afraid. Oh, sure. They could come to trade, of course. Import, export. That wouldn't hurt. Or maybe these creatures will be aesthetic marvels, nice and friendly and polite, and underneath the Tojo type. Or am I going to risk the possible future of the human race on a guess that it's safe to trust them? The one thing I won't risk is having them know how to find Earth. Either I know they can't follow me or I don't go. And they probably feel the same way. Ready to ship for supplemental command.
There, sir. By sight, on the busy plate.
I see it. For the first time by eye. It's a small...
No, sir. It's bigger and bigger.
Bulb. Bulbous shape, like a pear.
Headed for us at extremely high acceleration, sir.
Hard about.
Hard about, sir.
Put us about. Put us about. He's crossing the T. Dort, patch me a relay. Put a relay key to the blasters. Direct to the blasters under my hand.
This is the captain. Ready, blasters. Collision course with unidentified space object. Maximum power. Ready, blasters, section 1. This is it, men.
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment.
All of us, as American citizens, believe in our inherent liberties and freedoms, such as the freedom of the individual to choose and elect his own national representatives. It has been said that there is only one ruling class in America, the people themselves, who, through their vote, have established the law of our land. The real importance of this freedom depends on our accepting the responsibility not only to know what we are voting for or against, but also to choose our leaders for the best interests of the nation. So, accept your responsibility and ensure your freedom.
2 spaceships, 2 scientific expeditions, each uncountable miles from their own home. One from Earth, one from where?
The other ship stopped, Captain. Cut power. Quite stationary, sir.
Captain to crew. Steady as you are. Unidentified space object, now stationary. Do not fire. I repeat, fire only on command. This is a trick. You will fire only on command from myself and only when verified. As you are.
Stop dead, sir. They are. Dead for sure. Have a look. How far do you make them? Range 20 miles, Captain. Now they're sending modulated shortwave at us, sir. Frequency modulated? Yes, sir. Yes, I see your needle. Apparently a signal. Not enough power to do any harm. Look up in the left bow busy plate, sir. There's something now. Yes, I see movement on the outside of their hull. Their cold black hull. We shine like a mirror. Did you ever hear of a jet black spaceship, mister? We want to reflect the sun. Perhaps they... Want or need to absorb heat from a passing sun. Yeah, I know. Now, what's that thing? Small, round, whatever it is, it's coming out of the side of the ship. Watch. Huh? You're dripping sweat on your instruments. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Yes, I realize what they're up to. If they sent anything toward us, it might seem a projectile or a bomb. So they come close, let out a lifeboat, and go away again. Figure we can send a boat or a man to make contact without risking our whole ship, too. Captain, that means they think... Pretty much as we do. Yes, I'm glad that finally occurred to you. Mr. Dort, by law of Space Command, I'm not allowed to leave my ship except to jettison. Mr. Dort, this is not an order. No, sir. Would you care to go out and look the thing over, whatever it is?
The alien ship continued to retreat. 40, 80, 400 miles. It came to a stop and hung out there, waiting. Earthman Tommy Dort, climbing into his atomic-driven spacesuit inside the airlock, heard this mileage report and felt safer, but just a little bit safer. For if the unknown black space intruder had stopped its retreat at 400 miles, he reasoned it might not have weapons effective at a greater distance. But Tommy felt lonely and a little expendable, speeding toward that tiny black dot which hung in the incredible brightness of the star gas. 4,000 light years from his wife and family and home. Speeding toward that tiny black spot, the only solid object he could see in all this glowing space. And then he landed. It was a slightly distorted sphere, not much over 6 feet in diameter. There were small tentacles or horns projecting from this black space orange. They looked rather like the detonating horns of an old-era submarine mine, but there was a glint of crystal at the tip of each. Then through his suit he began to feel vibrations. A section of the rounded hull beneath his feet opened up. He moved sideways fast. It opened up and out, and when he looked inside into the now open insides of the little sphere, no, he didn't see the first non-human civilized beings he expected. What he saw was simply a flat plate, and on that flat plate a dim red glow of light came and went. Even inside the protection of his spaceship, Tom Dort felt the hairs in his neck rise and bristle. In momentary terror, he pressed his sleeve button to switch communicator.
Very good, Mr. Dort. Don't panic. No need to panic. Fix your scanner to look into that plate. Harry, these creatures are our equal.
But, sir...
They dumped out a robot with an infrared visiplate for communication, is all. Not risking any personnel. Good SOP for them. Whatever we might do would only damage machinery. That's good. That means they value life as you value yours. Maybe, though, they expect us to pull you with the sphere in on board. It may have a bomb charge that can be detonated when they're ready to blow for their own home. I'll send a visiplate out with a man to face one of its scanners. You return to the ship. Well done, Dort.
Yes, sir. But which way is the ship?
Head straight away from the Double Star. We'll pick you up, Dort.
A tiny black bulbous robot floated in space between two spaceships. Ours and theirs. Represented a culture. Theirs. Which was at least up to ours. Now our two races could be friends. We could also be deadly enemies. We were a monstrous menace to them, and they to us. And the only safe thing to do with a menace is, of course, to destroy it.
This truce. Weeks and weeks. It's starting to get the crew. Mr. Dort.
I'm busy. Still calculating, Captain.
Let's see, where was I in thinking? How do we establish friendship without risk of treachery? Friendship is based upon confidence. Or is it? Can confidence be established on a foundation of necessarily complete distrust?
If you can be patient a bit longer, sir, I think I've figured out a way we can talk their language. I mean communicate. Since they seem to be stone deaf.
You can?
I think, sir.
You can?
I believe now, sir, we can say almost anything we wish to them and understand what they say back. But, of course, sir, you'll never be able to know how much of what they say is the truth.
Well, neither will they about us. Go on, mister.
Well, I've managed to hook up what amounts to a mechanical translator. We showed them our recorder in the vision plates, and they showed us theirs. They record the FM direct, I think. Now, they don't use sound at all, even in speech. My guess is, sir, that they use microwaves for what you might call person-to-person conversation. I think they make short-wave trains as we make sounds.
Telepathy?
Yes, sir. I think, sir. I'm ready if you are. If you are, that is, prepared to talk with their skipper.
Turn on your mechanical translator. What shall I say to them, Dort? What shall I say?
They're waiting. They keep sending something like a CQ. They're oxygen breathers, sir, and they appear not too dissimilar in certain ways. I'm sure I detected signs of irony.
Irony?
I mean, sir, that implies humor. In other words, sir, I think they could be likable.
All right. Send this.
Hi, sir. They're acting suspicious.
All right. Say, the appropriate things about this first contact of two dissimilar but civilized races, and that my hope that a friendly intercourse between the two peoples will result.
Excuse me, what appropriate things? Oh, just a second, sir. The skipper sends you the following, quote, "That is all very well, but is there any way for us to let each other go home alive? I would be happy to hear of such a way if you can contrive one. At the moment, it seems to me that one of us must be killed." Unquote.
All right, then. Send this. Look here out there, whoever you are. It looks like we have to fight, and one batch of us gets killed. All right, we're ready if we have to. But if you win, we've got it fixed so you'll never find out where Earth is. And there's a good chance we'll get you anyhow. We've stayed here a month, and we've swapped information, and we don't hate each other. There's no reason for us to fight, except to protect our races.
Well, he says, sir, yes, all you say is true, but that his race has to be protected just as you feel that yours must be. He says, quote, "Perhaps this will help us to think clearly. Suppose we make it so we can't find each other's home planet, but leave a way to communicate in the future. So work out grounds for a common trust. If our governments want to be fools, let them. But we should give them the chance to make friends instead of starting a space war out of mutual panic," unquote.
All right, I have it. Send this. Okay, sir. Whoever you are, let's swap spaceships.
Send it, send it. He answers. Interesting. What is rest of your swapping proposal?
Send this. Swap ships and crews. I remove all star charts and anything else evidential. He removes all his navigational records. We train each other's key crewmen, and I go for home with my crew and his ship. He goes for home with his crew and his ship. That's my proposal. Tell him that's final. If he refuses, I'll blast.
Hold on, please, sir. He says accepted. He says accepted. With one proviso that we arrange to meet here at this star pit in exactly 1 astronome of the double star.
Agreed. To us, that'll be a year. Send it.
Now hear this. On signal, prepare to abandon ship. We sail for home as soon as we have learned to man controls of unidentified space object. And good Godspeed to us all. We will all see Earth again as soon as we are trained, and we train them.
There's a hidden assumption in the story we just heard that any intelligent entity can and may lie. I wonder just what a lie is and why it is that we expect intelligent entities to lie. Could a machine lie? Could an intelligent machine lie? Well, next time we have a discussion on that I think you'll find interesting. It's called Liar.
Join us for a fascinating adventure in Exploring Tomorrow. Heard in our cast tonight were Lon Clark and Lawson Zerbe. Script was by Murray Leinster, adapted by Peter Erding. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. Bill Maher speaking.
We pause now for station identification.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman. Up in the sky! Look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman! And now, Superman, valiant fighter for truth and justice, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, possessed of physical powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men, and who champions the weak and the oppressed in his guise of Clark Kent, star reporter for the Daily Planet. With Major Evans Dover, noted explorer and archaeologist, and his pilot Jack Corboy, Clark Kent flew down to the ruins of an ancient Mayan city in the heart of the Central American jungle on an exploring trip. But after a native high priest had attempted to kill the Major, Kent learned that the real purpose of the expedition was to obtain the remains of the goddess Ashta, a mummy hundreds of years old, but reputed to have the appearance of a living woman who was only asleep. Then Dover was captured by the high priest Kamado, and Kent, assuming the blue costume and red cape of Superman, fought his way to the dungeon where the explorer was imprisoned. When escape seemed cut off, a section of the dungeon wall swung out, and a shadowy figure beckoned. But Dover refused to enter the secret passageway, fearing a trap. As our story continues today, Kent and the Major are still hesitating, in spite of the fact that a horde of natives intent upon the death of the two white men are swarming down on them along the underground corridors. Listen.
We've got to take a chance on that secret door, Major. We're doomed if we don't. Come on.
Blimey, you've looked a bit hurry, too.
Who's that, Kent?
It's me, and I'm trying to help you. Quick now.
It's someone friendly. Come on, Major.
Right. If there was a narrow squeeze, mates, another half-minute and they'd have had you both, they would.
Who are you? Where did you come from?
Shut your ear until we get going. Mind your step now and follow me.
Where are you taking us?
expecting me up in the village, I hopes. We'll be all right so long as we're in this blooming secret tunnel, but we'll have to look sharp when we leave it. Yeah. You wanted to know who I am and where I comes from, eh?
That's right.
Well, my name's Albert Andrew Wellington Pempson, called Bert, and I hails from merry old England, I does.
What are you doing down here in the jungle?
I'm Most High Counselor to His Majesty Chief Tasso. How'd you like that one?
Counselor to Tasso? Since when?
11 years, matey.
Wait a minute, Kent. I knew this was a trick. A trick? Yes, this man was lying. If he'd been down here 11 years, I would have seen him or known about him when I was here before.
Oh, no, you wouldn't, me Arthur. When you was digging among the ruins afore, I kept out of sight in the hut next to the chief's.
Why?
'Cause I'm a deserter from His Majesty's Navy. I keeps under cover when there's strangers about.
Oh.
Does that ease your mind, Major Dover?
Why, he even knows your name, Major.
Blooming well right, I does. Come on, lads. You've got to hurry if they're going to beat Kimado and his band of cutthroats to the exit of this tunnel.
How did you know they're in the dungeon?
It's old Birdie's business to know everything what goes on around the village and the ruins. Else how could I counsel His Highness, the Chief?
Did you know Kimado tried to kill us before?
Of course I did. So I says to myself, says I, if you wants them blokes to help you, Bertie, you'd better off do it. So here I am, and here you are, and away we go.
Help you? In what way?
Chief Tasso needs the helping hands and the willing hearts of a couple of brave lads like you. He's got a problem, he has.
What kind of a problem?
A little score to settle with your bloodthirsty friend, Kimado. And seeing as how you got one to settle too, I thought we might join forces.
In that case, you can count on Kent and myself. Well, what do you want us to do?
All in good time, Major. Right now, we've got to get out of this with our old skins.
What's the matter?
There's the exit of this here tunnel, and there's natives outside.
How do you know?
Didn't you hear that hoot owl? It's a signal the coming priests use. Keep your mouth shut and don't move. You see, I knows all the little tricks. Listen. See, there's native guards outside, all right. Yukari. They are gorgeous. There you is. Blimey. The beggar recognised me, and I had to get him.
What does that mean?
Means the rest will be coming. We've got a fight on our hands.
How many are there?
Ain't no telling. They don't know how many we are, neither. Look out, the lads. Here they come. Get them, lads, for the everlasting glory of the British Empire and Chief
Dover! Major Dover! Look, the Major's down.
I can't help him. I've got my own hands full.
There goes Bert. Well, it's high time for Superman to take over. How do you like that? And that. And that. Oh, you think a knife can hurt Superman, do you? Well, try it. Are there any more of you? Well, looks like that's over. Now let's have a look at the Major and Bert. Oh, they're both out cold. I guess the only thing to do is carry them back to the village. Well, one under each arm. So, and there we are. Now to the exit. And up. Up.
Pouring out over the jungle, red cape streaming in the wind, Superman heads for the village with the limp forms of Bert and Major Dover under each arm. Arriving at the native quarter, Superman carries his unconscious companions to Bert's hut. Bathing their cuts and bruises, he places them on sleeping mats and himself stretches out for a welcome rest. Early the following evening, Dover, Kent, and Bert, still in the latter's hut, are talking quietly. Listen.
But what gets me, Mr. Kent, is how you ever got away from that fighting mob evenings. Certainly, it's a blooming miracle, it is.
Well, you see, Bert, it wasn't nearly as difficult as it sounds. There were so many of them, and it was so dark that they soon got to fighting with one another, and I slipped away in the confusion, dragging you two out with me.
You got your pokes in regular, I'll wager.
I guess I must have gone down right at the beginning. Yes, you did, Major. And then Bert went out. As for me, I was just lucky.
Maybe it was luck. Maybe it was knowing how to handle your dukes. Anyhow, you are the lads for Chief Tasso.
You never did tell us what Tasso wants done, Bert.
That's right. Well, in a nutshell, he wants to put that squad Kimado out of business.
You're talking to the wrong people if you mean murder.
Who said anything about murder? All Tesso wants is to whittle him down to boy's size. Kimado's got too powerful for the chief's liking.
Oh, that's different.
You see, they've been fighting to get the best of each other for years. About 2 years ago, it looked like Tesso had the high priest lashed to the mast. And then he pulled a blooming rabbit right out of the hat.
How do you mean?
Performed a miracle, he did.
What?
Seen it with my own eyes.
What sort of a miracle?
Well, at a religious ceremony in the Temple of Ashtar.
The Temple of the Goddess Ashtar?
Right. Well, sir, Kimado, he resurrected the mummy of the goddess, which all these blokes worships. And he made her rise up from her couch where she'd laid for centuries. And blimey, was she a beauty.
But such a thing is impossible, man.
That's what I said to myself. But he done it. And since then, Kimado's been the #1 bloke of the tribe.
I don't believe it, Bert.
You don't, eh? Well, you just wait here half a mo, and I'll see if Tasso's in his hut. He can tell you the same thing. You wait right here, see? Kent, it's true.
But how can such a thing be true, Major? I don't know, but it is. You've heard this amazing tale from an eyewitness, Kent. It's incredible. We've got to find out from Bert where the temple is. Once we know that, the battle's half won. What's happened so far, I'd say that when we find out where the temple is, the battle's only begun. We've got to be careful not to arouse any suspicions in Bert's mind about what we're after. Right. He's a tough-looking customer, and if he's been down here for 11 years, he'll be on the side of the chief. I'll let you do most of the talking. You can convince him that...
Well, Tasso's gone somewhere. I couldn't find him. But he'll tell you straight when you sees him.
Where is this Temple of Ashtar, Bert? Never heard about it when I was down here before.
Yeah, you wouldn't. It's sacred to the natives, and I guess I'm the only white man what's ever been near it, let alone in it.
How does that happen?
Well, you see, I was adopted, like, by the tribe. And besides, being Tasso's right-hand man, so to speak, where he goes, I goes.
I'd certainly like to see that Temple of Ashtar, but from what you said, I suppose that's impossible.
No, it ain't, matey. You see, what Tasso wants from you is help in solving the mystery of Kimado's miracle. And to do that, I've got to get you two inside the temple.
Really? You'd really get us in?
Sure. You see, the Temple of Ashtar's built on a blooming island, surrounded by a lake in the middle of the jungle.
Oh, then the temple isn't among the other ruins.
Right, me now. Entirely away from them. And you'd never be able to find it unless you was guided there. And even then, you'd never be able to get across the lake.
Why not?
Because the lake's filled with hundreds of man-eating crocodiles, that's why.
Crocodiles? Well, how do the natives get to the temple for the ceremonials?
There's a road leading from the shore to the temple, but it can only be used when the lake's half drained. And the only ones who know how to drain the blooming lake's the high priest and his assistant.
You mean to say Tasso, the chief, doesn't know?
No. Now, where you two comes in is to get to the temple somehow and find out first how his nibs draws off the water. Then you got to have a look at the goddess.
That's a man-sized order, Bert.
Strike me if it ain't. I can't do it alone, but with you two, swelp me, I think it can be managed. But it won't be no child's play, and there's plenty of danger.
Well, I'm for lending a hand. How about you, Kent? You bet.
Yeah, it's the spirit, me boys, and you won't be sorry. Because I promises you, old Tasso will give you a free hand with Kimado's treasure chest. Why, you never seen so much gold, and so many bleeding diamonds and rubies and...
Blimey, what's that? Those were shots from an automatic. There's Corbett shooting. Something's wrong.
Look at the doorway here. The sky's all red.
What? Good heavens, Kent, that blows from the river bank where the plane is moored. Are you sure? Yes. Corbett's either trying to summon help or he's being attacked.
Come on, lads, and we'll see what's up.
Major, if anything happens to the plane, how will we ever leave this place? We never will, Kent. Never.
Just when it seems that Clark Kent and Major Dover are on the road to the discovery of the amazing secret of the goddess Ashtar, a new menace appears. What is happening to Corbett and the Major's plane, without which they cannot escape to civilization alive? Tune in next time and follow this exciting story of perilous jungle adventure with Superman. And remember, tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky, look! It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman! Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, valiant fighter for truth and justice who came to Earth from the planet Krypton. Superman, who can travel faster than a rocket, leap tall buildings, bend giant steel girders with his bare hands, and who goes about among men disguised as mild-mannered Clark Kent, news reporter for the Daily Planet. Kent, who joined the flying expedition of Major Evans Dover to the Central American jungle as a vacation trip, has finally found that the expedition is not for the purpose of uncovering further Mayan ruins. Major Evans confessed to Kent that his true purpose is to obtain the remains of the goddess Ashta, a sacred mummy hundreds of years old, but said to have retained the appearance of a living woman who is only asleep. 3 times Kamado, high priest of the tribe which worships the goddess Ashta, has tried to do away with the 2 white men. The last time they were rescued from an underground temple dungeon by a Cockney deserter from the British Navy who acts as counselor to Tasso, the tribal chief. Bert, as the Cockney calls himself, then asked Major Dover and Kent to help Chief Tasso oust the high priest Kamado from power. This they quickly agreed to do when Bert told them that in return he would lead them to the secret temple of the goddess Ashta. But while discussing the plan in Bert's village hut, gunshots were heard, and the 3 rushed out to discover that the Major's plane was apparently on fire. As we join them now, they are starting for the river where the plane is moored. Listen.
Follow me.
Major Dover, you go on with Bert.
What are you going to do, Kent?
I'll try to get some natives to help us.
All right, but for heaven's sake, hurry. If our plane is destroyed, we'll never get out of this place alive.
Okay. I'll join you in a few minutes.
Those 2 out of sight, Superman can make better speed than Clark Kent ever could. And speed is important now. Up, and away! Faster. I'll need a few minutes to work in before Dover and Bert into the river. There's the river. Great Scott. The plane isn't on fire at all. It's surrounded by a circle of flames. Corbett must have set that fire himself to keep the natives away from the plane. And there he is, lying on the wing, unconscious. Faster. Through these flames. They can't burn Superman. Here we are. Poor Corbett must have been knocked out by a spear. Here, carry him into the cabin and get this plane up before the flames set it on fire. Uh-oh. He's coming to. Better change back to Clark Kent.
What? Take it easy, Corbett. In we go.
Kent, oh, my head. Where'd you come from? Where's Major Dover?
Never mind that now. Can you handle these controls?
Oh, hang it, I've twisted my arm. Can't I set that fire in the water to save the ship, and now it's going to burn it up.
Not if I can prevent it. Where's the starter?
That button there below the bank and turn indicator. Good. What are you going to do? You can't fly this ship, man.
Oh, yes, I can. You'll help me with your one good hand. We'll shoot right through that break there in the flames.
Okay, kid. If you're game, I am. Let's go.
Right. I didn't think we'd make it for a minute. If this ship had really caught on fire, we'd have been goners.
You sure would. Hey, what are we going to do now?
Well, we'll just fly around a bit until those gasoline flames on the water burn themselves out. Hey, what on earth happened?
A bunch of natives were after me. Some of the high priest's men, I think.
What had you done to them? Why should they want to attack you?
I don't know. I was just doing a little exploring in the jungle near the river.
Looking for anything in particular?
No, just wanted some exercise. Anyhow, all of a sudden I came to a sort of clearing, and what do you think I saw?
Not the temple of the goddess Ashta.
No, I think that's a myth. What I saw definitely wasn't a myth. It was the wreckage of an airplane.
Of an airplane?
Yes, sir. I started looking over, but before I could get anywhere, a bunch of natives came leaping through the brush, brandishing spears and shrieking like mad.
I wonder what brought that on.
I don't know, and I didn't wait to find out. I beat it down the river and paddled back to the plane. Then when I saw another bunch of wild-eyed natives coming after me, I got some cans of gas and dumped it on the water around the ship.
And then set fire to it. Swell idea.
Yeah, but it nearly didn't work. Just as I climbed back on the wing and started shooting to signal you and Major Dover, a flock of spears came flying through the air, and one of them must have knocked me out.
Something mighty queer about all this. I'd like to get a look at that wrecked plane, Corbett.
bet there's a good story behind it.
Now, don't let any of the natives catch you around it, Kent. They must regard it as a sacred relic or some such thing the way they went after me.
Look, Corboy.
Huh?
Isn't that Major Dover down there on the riverbank?
Sure is. Old Chief Tasso's with him. Say, looks like he's making signs at the natives in the war canoe.
Yeah, that's right. They're all starting for the shore.
Hey, wait a minute. Who's that other white man with Major Evans and Tasso?
Oh, that's Bert. He rescued the Major and me from a gang of Kamato's priests who had us cornered in a temple chamber. He's a Cockney, deserter from the British Navy, and now right-hand man to Chief Tasso.
That sounds like an interesting character.
Yeah.
Look, fire's burned itself out. Huh? Guess we can go in for a landing now.
Okay. Give me a hand again.
Easy now. Careful. That's well. Kent, you're not a bad pilot.
Thanks, Corboy. Oh, say, I'll ask Bert about that wrecked plane. He'll know something about it.
Now, let me know the first chance you get.
Oh, aren't you coming ashore?
No, not me. Stuck my neck out once, and that's enough. From now on, I'm going to stay right with this ship. Hey, look, we drifted right up the shore.
Oh, good. Take her back to midstream after I jump ashore. I'll ask Chief Tasso to put some of his own guards on the bank to watch the plane and see that the high priest men don't bother you.
That'll be swell. And, thanks a lot, fella, for pulling me out of a tight spot.
Oh, forget it. See you later.
Is Corboy in the plane?
Yes, he's taxiing back to midstream.
Oh, I just wanted to know that he's all right.
Yes, he's all right.
Hey, what's happening here?
Some of the natives attacked Corboy. What was the idea of that, Chief?
Not Tasso's men. Imados. Tasso didn't know nothing about it. He didn't.
That's right, Kent. Tasso joined us as we ran through the village. He was the one who ordered the war canoes back to the bank. What in heaven's name happened?
I'll tell you about that later. First, I've got a question to ask. Bert, do you or Tasso know anything about a wrecked plane around here?
Wrecked plane?
Yes.
What are you talking about, Kent?
Well, Corboy has discovered the wreckage of a plane hidden in the jungle near the river.
Oh, that one. Viracochusburg, Tasso. Lord, lummy, that fell a couple of years ago, mate.
Well, what happened to the pilot? Was he killed in the crash?
Swelp me, he was never found. I was at the river when it happened. But Tasso was here.
Man, no come out, Iron Bird.
He means the pilot wasn't in the plane. The blighter must have jumped out when it started to fall, landed in the jungle somewhere, and crouched.
Oh, that's possible. But why should Kamato's men try to kill Corboy because he was looking at the wreckage?
You got me there, boy. We got something more important to talk about than a blinking wrecked plane. Sonny, we're all going to the Temple of Ashta.
We are? When?
Tomorrow night. There's to be a conclave of the tribal council and the priest of the Temple of Ashta.
Yes, and of course Tasso and his faithful Bertie's got to go.
But I don't see how
Bert says the lake of the crocodiles will be drained enough so the road can be used.
Yes, and you two lads will cross over to the temple as nice as you please.
But won't the road be guarded?
Of course it will be, but I got a plan I have.
Yes?
When the moon comes up, you'll...
Bert, isn't that Commando coming along the path from the village?
What? Strike me if it ain't. Hey, you blokes go back to your camp, and I'll visit you tomorrow and tell you what's to be done, right? And mind you, keep a weather eye out for any Kimada's men who might be prowling around.
Don't worry. We will.
The following night, huddled in the jungle shadows at the edge of the clearing which surrounds the Lake of the Crocodiles and the Temple of Ashta, Major Dover, Clark Kent, Chief Tasso listen attentively, while Bert the Cockney whispers final instructions.
And mind what I'm a-telling of you. I'll pass the guard at this end of the road and cross over.
Yes?
Then, when I'm well on my way, Tasso will start. When he gets up to the guard, he'll knock the blighter out. Then you two comes on the double.
Right.
From there on, it's easy sailing until we gets in the temple.
Won't there be any guard at the entrance to the temple, Bert?
He'll be inside. And Mr. Kent and I will take care of him when you gets over. All right. Here I goes. Mind what I told you now.
I think it's going to work, Tasso.
Look. White guard, pass guard. We go now. Get ready.
Tasso. Suppose you can't overpower that guard. Shall we come out and help you?
Tasso need no help.
Kent, they've really fixed things.
I wonder. You know, Major, this whole thing looks too smooth for me.
You mean you think we're being double-crossed?
No, not exactly that, but... Look, Major, I'm going to play a hunch.
What are you talking about? What are you going to do?
Tasso's almost up to the guard now. When he socks him, you go ahead without me.
Then what will you do?
I can't stop to tell you now. Look, Tasso's knocked the guard out. Get going.
But, Ken,
You've got to trust me, Major. Now, go on, please. I'll follow in a few minutes. The road will be unguarded, and I can make it all right.
What will I tell Tasso and Bert?
Well, tell them anything that comes to your mind. But hurry, man, hurry.
All right.
Where are the white men?
He hurt himself. Said for us to go on.
Other white man afraid. We go.
Did Bert get across, Tasso?
He go in temple.
Tasso, look at the water.
What white chief see?
It's rising, Tasso. The lake's filling up again.
Commando trap us.
Kent was right. We've been double-crossed. Kent! Help!
Kent and Chief Tasso were trapped in the middle of the Lake of the Crocodiles that surrounds the temple of the goddess Ashta. Slowly but surely the water is rising, and the ugly black snouts of the man-eating monsters push through the water toward the narrow road, which will be covered before Dover and Tasso can reach the land ahead or behind. And where is Kent? What is he doing? Only Superman can save these two, yet Kent cannot reveal his other identity to Dover. What will happen? Tune in next time and follow this exciting story of perilous jungle adventure with Superman. And remember, tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman! Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Stand by to raise ship. Blast off minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Exploring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. At Space Academy, the bright sun glints along the polished metal of a rocket cruiser's hull. This is the Polaris, ready to blast off from the spaceport into the outer reaches of the universe. But on this fine day, aboard their proud and eager ship, the Space Cadet crew, for once, shows no desire to leave. On the power deck, good-natured Astro scowls as he makes a final check of his equipment. And glaring through the viewport, Roger Manning complains bitterly to Tom Corbett.
I tell you, Junior, this is the limit. They can't do this to us.
That's what the man said as he picked himself up from the floor. But since the professor will be along any minute, Roger, you might as well stop blowing your...
Space dust. What are we, taxi drivers for any old fossil who wants to poke around on Titan?
Stow it. We don't any of us like this mission. But you can't expect hot assignments all the time.
Why not, Tom? We're the best unit in the academy.
Says you.
Says Commander Arkwright, even.
You seem to be a little feverish, Roger, or is your memory slipping?
You mean when he fuses our jets? That's just math. He knows we're good.
Well, maybe he thinks this will be a nice rest.
Rest. A straight run to Titan and then waiting hand and foot on some old goat of a scientist.
Hello, boys.
Oh, morning, sir.
Who am I? Why, I'm your passenger. The old goat of a scientist.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you aboard, sir.
Thank you, Cadet Corbett. And I'm sure that goes for Roger Manning, too.
Well, I guess you aren't, sir. An old goat, I mean.
Thank you, Cadet Manning.
You seem to know us, sir.
I know quite a lot about the whole Polaris unit. You see, I'm not a scientist either.
Wait a minute. Our passenger's supposed to be...
Whatever you were expecting, I'm your passenger.
Maybe you'd better explain, sir.
I will. But first, are we ready to blast off?
Blast off time set for 0800. It's 3 minutes to, and we're ready.
No last-minute trips outside? No girls you have to kiss goodbye, Manning?
He really does know about you, Roger.
Yeah, well, I want to know more about him.
Right. Here are my credentials, Corbett.
Oh, thanks. Great Jupiter. Take a look at these, Roger.
Colonel Raymond Cowan, Solar Guard Intelligence Service. But, sir, you're not in uniform.
In my line of work, we usually prefer not to be recognized. That's the reason for all this hocus-pocus about a professor on a field trip to Titan.
Oh, then this is really going to be an intelligence mission.
In a way.
Well, that's better. What goes on Titan, sir?
Nothing that I know of.
But then why...
You see, you weren't told the correct destination either. We'll head in that general direction, but we're concerned with another moon of Saturn, Rhea.
Rhea, hey.
You've heard of it, I imagine.
Well, everybody has, Colonel. The papers and magazines have been full of stories about it recently.
Sure, ever since they developed that, the stuff that knocks out virus diseases.
The viricide, F3, yes. Out of strange little crystal plants that are entirely unlike anything we've known, they've created the greatest miracle in medical history. If they can only make enough of it.
Sounds as if you're pretty interested in it, sir.
I am, but everyone should be. Think of it. Diseases that men have been trying to conquer for thousands of years. Some of the worst cripplers and killers can now be licked.
No wonder they're starting to call Rhea the satellite of life.
That's what it is. But our job is to keep it from becoming a satellite of death.
What?
So you see, this isn't going to be such a dull assignment, cadets. All right, prepare to blast off. We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Spaceman, if you want to blast through tomorrow at full space speed, then listen. Tomorrow morning, when Reveille sounds, hop up and jump out of bed. Well, maybe jump is the wrong word. Anyhow, get out of bed and dress yourself. Next, wash yourself slowly and carefully. Well, at least wash yourself and brush your teeth. Okay, you'll pass inspection. Now, you're ready to enjoy the Spaceman's Breakfast, Kellogg's Pep. Wait, Spaceman, Kellogg's Pep deserves a bigger fanfare than that. Remember, Pep is the build-up wheat cereal with a wonderful flavor. Well, that's more like it. Lots of energy there. And that's just what you get when you eat Kellogg's Pep. Lots of food energy. Eat Pep, and you get the food power necessary to travel at full space speed. Pep supplies you with important vitamins that help build strong bones, tough muscles, and healthy teeth. But, Spaceman, that's not all. When you eat Pep, you enjoy its wonderful, rich malt flavor. Yes, that's what you'll say when you dig into a heaping bowl full of delicious Kellogg's Pep. So, Spaceman, start off tomorrow the Spaceman's way with Kellogg's Pep. That's P-E-P. Pep. Kellogg's Pep.
The Space Cadets ordered to fly a scientist to Titan, largest moon of the planet Saturn, are disgusted with such a dull assignment. But their passenger turns out to be Colonel Cowan of Solar Guard Intelligence. And their real destination, Rhea, another Saturnian moon which has become known as the satellite of life. Now, far out in space, Tom and Roger, having set the Polaris on course for Rhea, turn again to the Colonel.
So what's the story on Rhea, sir?
Well, for some time, we've been after a well-organized, completely ruthless space gang. They've been looting ships, raiding settlements, getting away with murder, literally.
Can a gang like that be tracked down?
We've made a start, but most of our leads have taken us just exactly nowhere.
Well, what's the idea of the flight we're on?
One tip we received is that Rhea is the gang's next objective. Since I have a special interest, I was assigned to check.
Why should a gang like that be interested in Rhea?
Viricide F3, Corbett. The power of life or death over many thousands of people.
I can see it'd be quite a black market item, Colonel.
Oh, they could make a fortune, all right. But it's more than that, boys. There's a leading member of the Solar Council who's doomed without that medicine. One of our planetary governors has a daughter who's very sick indeed. F3 will save her life.
I don't get it.
I think I do, sir. You mean they could use this medicine to exert pressure on important people?
Exactly. The men who control F3 can get almost anything they want from almost anybody.
But who's going to help a gang like that?
Not helping could mean death. For themselves or for someone they love.
Well, even so, sir.
Manning.
Yes, sir?
My wife
is one of those who needs that medicine.
I'm sorry.
And if it came to saving her life, I don't know how far I'd go, even with a gang of killers.
Of course, Colonel.
I see you're beginning to understand.
I can see that it'd all be true if they could monopolize Viricide F3.
Well, the last shipment left Rhea 6 weeks ago. A shipment of less than 30 pounds. And while in space, the ship blew up.
The gang did it?
Most likely, though we don't know. But consider this. A raid on Rhea now would give them all the F3 that's been manufactured in the last 3 months.
Yes, and suppose they blasted the processing plants and the scientists in charge.
It'd take us a year to get into production again. And in the meantime, the gang would have the only supply of F3 in the entire universe.
That certainly puts it right up to us, sir. If the tip about Rhea is true. Don't worry, Colonel. We'll blast those crooks right out of space.
I know you will. That's why I asked for the Polaris unit.
Better not tell Astro that. His head will swell up till it won't fit into his space helmet. Say, I forgot about Astro. There's no reason for him to stay on the power deck now. Well, give him a call on the intercom. Sure. Control the power deck. Come in, Astro. Astro, check in, will you? What's the matter with that Venusian ape?
Could anything be wrong?
Nah, he's probably on his way up now. See, here he is now. Hey, Bubblehead. Great galaxy. That's not Astro.
You're right, it isn't. So don't anybody move.
He's got a parallel ray gun.
So have I.
Corbett?
Colonel Collins.
Skip it. He's frozen. Sucker. Trying to draw on a guy that had him covered. You kids better be smarter.
You dirty space crawler.
Want some of the same?
Take it easy, Roger. We haven't got a chance right now.
Not now or ever. So just move back while I get his gun. That's it.
What did you do to Astro?
The big boy on the power deck? He's in the deep freeze, too. Never even saw me sneak up behind him.
Pretty brave guy, aren't you?
Being brave don't pay off, sonny boy. Look at your colonel. Makes a real nice statue, don't he?
All right, so you got us. Now what?
Everything will come out okay if you two act like good little boys and keep this ship going right on course.
As we're heading now?
Yeah. I'm going your way. I got a date with my gang near Rhea.
Rhea? Then the colonel's tip was accurate.
Sure, just like he figured. We're taking over F3. And the price will be going way up.
Tom, why should we run the Polaris for this space rat? Well, how do you mean, Roger? Suppose we just quit, knock off, and let Ugly here run the ship himself. No, passive resistance, eh?
It won't work, fellas, so don't even try.
Oh, why won't it?
I'll tell you. So far, I've been trying to be nice about this whole thing. Even using a parallel ray to just paralyze you monkeys instead of killing you with a heat blast.
Well, thanks, Heat.
You're welcome, but get this straight. Try any tricks. I'll shove your buddy Astro and the colonel out into space.
That'd be murder.
Some might call it that. I'd call it a lesson for fresh kids. And if that didn't line you, I could get rid of you two the same way.
Guess he's got us stymied, Roger. What? Where'd he be without a pilot, navigator, or radar man?
Don't worry. I'd make out. I'm no hot rod space cadet, but with the course set, I can take the ship in from here.
He could at that.
Now, that's being sensible, kid. Behave. You'll all stay alive. There's plenty of work to do and plenty of information you can give us.
You think we tell you anything?
People always do. Look how we were able to find out about this little junk of the Cowans. In time for me to stow away and stop them.
How did you find out?
Never mind. We're just smarter than the Solar Guard, that's all. Like I'm smarter than you.
Smarter than us? Why, you eight-faced dimwit. Wait, Roger. Maybe he's right. I don't like the way you're talking, Junior.
He's just getting wised up.
Maybe he is smarter, Roger. Anyway, he's got the gun, and you've got to admit it looks as if we're licked. Hey, Roger, what do you want, quitter? Aren't we getting badly off course out of the space lane?
What's that?
Haven't you noticed, Roger? No, I haven't. It's your job to check our orbit, Roger. Do you want us to get into trouble?
Yeah, how about that? What's wrong, Corbett?
Well, take a look at the stars out there. Doesn't the pattern look wrong to you?
Stars? Well, they look about like always. Maybe a little funny.
Sure, it's obvious we're off course. Look at the relative position of Vega, for instance.
Vega? Oh, yeah, sure, Vega. Yeah, that's right.
We're in trouble. Listen, Roger, it must be the cosmic drift. Cosmic drift? You got space junk in your head, or is it... Space junk, you're right, Roger. That's the danger.
That's not what I said.
Absolutely. Cosmic drift could carry us right out of the clear space lane into the tombstone area.
Hey, I've heard about that. We could really get clobbered by space junk there.
That's right, Roger. Anything could happen there. Anything.
Huh? Oh, it sure could. You got any suggestions for escaping this cosmic drift, Tom?
Well, you've got to settle it, wise guy. Now get us out of it. And fast, or I'll put the freeze on you.
Hold on. Roger has to navigate.
Okay, but get going.
Our course is starboard, isn't it, Roger?
That's right. An 8-degree sweep should put us about right. Then I'll give you more correction.
Jack, get back where we belong fast and stay there this time. No young punk can put anything over on me.
I've had my lesson. I know what I'm doing now.
Yep, we'll do just what you say. Now, come on, Roger. If we work fast, everything ought to turn out all right.
Look what I'm picking up on the radar screen, Junior.
Let me see, Roger. Uh-oh.
What now?
A big piece of space junk right in our path.
And some hunk of rock big as a mountain.
Well, that cosmic drift sure threw us off. Now, come on, do something.
Well, I'm going to try, you can bet. Gosh, that thing's close.
And listen to the blips.
Why, they're building up. We'll be into it in a minute.
Well, come on, get them over.
I'm trying, but this is an emergency. We need to blast on the steering rockets. Roger, get down to the power deck, right?
No, stay right here where I can watch your boat.
Well, then we can't work the steering blast.
Hold on with the controls.
Impossible. Can't you see I'm trying? There's a warning signal. We'll smash. Let me go down.
No, Corbett, get us out of this or I'll shoot.
Well, if we don't get out, there'll be nobody to shoot.
Shut off the power.
That'll make it worse. No thrust. I can't get out of the way.
Blast you, you're not trying.
Maybe you could do better.
Yeah, I could. Let me at those controls.
Okay, take them. And there's two.
Oh.
Knocked them cold, Tom. Nice going.
Yeah, it was a snap. I hit him with the control lever.
That piece of space junk really had him worried.
How far away is it, really?
Far enough to be safe. That was a great bluff you put up, Tom, struggling at the controls without moving them.
Yeah, you did a nice job with the enlargement control, too, building up the picture and the blips. But it was the warning bell that really scared him. How'd you set that off, anyway?
Shorted the wires. And, Tom, I'm sorry I didn't trust you before.
Skip it. Let's get out of here. Don't forget, we are in the Tombstone area now. I'll just start a sweep back to port and lose that space mountain out there.
Right. Oh, it's gone. Cosmic drift. Oh, brother. Hey, let's unfreeze the colonel with this gun.
Thanks. That was rough. Seeing, hearing everything, but being helplessly paralyzed. I'll admit I didn't catch on to what you were up to, Tom, until Roger started to play along.
Smart work, Junior. Pretending to put us back on course and heading for the space junkyard instead.
Anyway, it worked. Now we have to reset our orbit to Rhea. Sir, will you go down and unfreeze Astro?
You bet. Give me the gun.
Hey, Roger. The radar, didn't you turn the gain down?
Yeah, something really is coming. Jumping Jupiter, trying to dodge, Tom.
Okay.
It's a small piece, but right on top of us. Look out!
Great galaxy. It must have gone right through the ship.
And I shorted out the bell that would have warned us in time.
The rockets are dead. The space junk must have hit the power deck. And Astro's down there, still paralyzed. Come on, we've got to find out if he's hurt. How is he, Colonel?
He'll be all right, Tom.
You sure, sir?
Yes, there's no fracture. But that piece of metal gave him a hard clout just the same. He'll be unconscious for several hours. How about ship damage?
Bad, sir. We sealed up the holes in the hull easily enough, stopped the air loss. But the rockets...
Well, it's hard to believe one crummy little hunk of stone could tear things up like that.
How soon can we make repairs?
Well, Astro's the mechanical whiz.
Yes, he could patch it up in a few hours. We'll have to go more slowly.
How long?
Oh, maybe half a day. Faster if Astro comes to in time to help.
Half a day without power? You realize what that means?
Yes, sir, we sure do. It means we'll never get to Rhea in time to stop that raid.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
The Hydra blasts off for a patrol around Saturn's ring. Space freighter Lexus blasts off with a cargo for Mercury. Space cruiser Draco blasts off on a Mercy mission to Venus. One after another, ships from Space Academy hurtle out into the far-flung regions of space. And now here's the one man responsible for the perfect execution of these operations. The Commandant of Space Academy, Commander Arkwright.
Spaceman, you can take my word for it. Every man on those spaceships is equipped with an official pair of space goggles. I wouldn't allow a man out into space without a pair. You see, space goggles protect a cadet's eyes when he's rocketing through space. And they'll help protect your eyes when you're heading into the glaring sun or bucking a strong headwind. You'll find dozens of good uses for your pair of space goggles. They're made of one sweeping, curved piece of colored plastic, and they fit comfortably over both eyes. So, spacemen, send for your goggles right away. Listen carefully and write down these instructions.
Here's what you do. Send 25 cents, one box top from Kellogg's Pep, and your name and address. That's 25 cents, one box top from Kellogg's Pep, and your name and address. Send to this address. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Kellogg's, Box 346, Battle Creek, Michigan. Spaceman, write for your official space goggles today, and be sure to eat the Spaceman's Breakfast. Kellogg's Pep. That's swell-tasting, build-up wheat cereal.
By pretending that the Polaris was about to collide with a huge mass of space junk, Tom and Roger managed to trick their captor, regain control of the ship, and release Colonel Cowan. However, the trick backfired when a smaller piece of rock tore through the Polaris and knocked out the main drive. With the cruiser drifting powerless and ace mechanic Astro unconscious from the accident, it now appears that they will be unable to stop the gang's raid on Rhea, the satellite of light.
You boys were right. This is hopeless. We just don't have the know-how to do a quick repair job.
But we can't give up, Colonel.
Of course not. But this way's too slow.
We're not doing so bad, sir. This mess is beginning to look like a power system again.
A little, Manning, but we can't gamble on it.
Maybe Astro will come too sooner than you figured.
It's still a gamble. And remember, thousands of lives are at stake, including my wife's.
Then we'll have to notify the Solar Guard over our audio channel.
No, if we break audio silence, we'd be notifying the criminals, too. They're probably tuned to our frequency right now.
Oh, suppose they did hear us. What could they do?
Move faster than they planned. They'd hit Rhea, grab the F3 viricide, wipe out the plants, and get away. If there were only some way.
Sir, wait a minute. There's the jet boat. Go from here to Rhea in that flivver? We are pretty far away, but there's a possibility.
It might work.
You said you didn't want to gamble, sir, and this is the biggest gamble I can think of. Jet boats don't carry that much fuel.
Just the same, I'm going.
You'll need a pilot, sir. I'll go along.
Thanks, Corbett, but I couldn't ask you to do that.
You didn't ask me, sir. I volunteered. Roger, you keep at the rocket. Sure, but when Astro comes to, he can help. And when you get the ship fixed, follow us to Rhea. All right. Don't worry about it. But this jet boat junket is plain crazy. It has to be done, Roger. You know that. And suppose you do make it. What can two men do against a gang with a spaceship?
He's right, Corbett. It's a long shot. Better let me go alone.
No, sir. At least two men have a better chance than one. And as long as there's any chance at all, we have to try. Right, sir?
Right.
All right, then, Colonel. Let's go. We've made it, sir. There's Rio below us.
I didn't think we'd ever see this place. Listen to those jets. They're nearly finished.
Fuel's about gone. If I hadn't happened to hit it right...
It didn't just happen. You're a fine pilot.
Thanks, sir. We're close enough now to take a look through the glasses and see what's happening.
I have them here. I'm almost afraid to look. The gang has already hit and run. Well, here goes. Great Jupiter!
What's wrong, sir?
Nothing at all. Men at work just as usual. We're in time.
Well, thank goodness. I'll tell you the truth now, sir. I didn't think we had a chance.
And neither did I. The gang must be holding off, waiting to hear from their man on the Polaris.
I guess we've been pretty lucky, sir.
Well, we don't need much more luck now. Just a little, and our mission will be accomplished. Rhea's precious medicine will be saved for the people of the entire universe.
Don't miss the next action-packed episode with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when Tom and Captain Cowan find that treachery awaits them on Rhea in Part 2 of The Satellite of Death. Tune in, same time, same station on Thursday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the Build-Up Wheat Cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin and Neil O'Malley. Today's program was written by Don Hughes, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Begg speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran, raisins and bran flakes too. They're out of this world, they're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Kellogg's raisins are honeycomb coated to keep them tender, the bran flakes crisper. Kellogg's Raisin Bran, raisins and bran flakes too. They're out of this world, they're out of one package. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran. Eat Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, transcribed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are standing outside a room, horror gripping you, while before your eyes, seen through the transom window, the most beautiful girl in the world is about to die because of you.
Today we escape from reality with the fascinating story of a girl who lived a weird second life, as John Jessel told it in his gripping story, The Adaptive Ultimate.
No, Daniel, I can't do it. You have a very interesting theory,
It's more than a theory, Dr. Bach. I've proved it. It works. I tried my serum on tubercular guinea pigs, and it cured them. They adapted themselves to the tubercular bacillus and lived. I tried my serum on a dog with rabies. He adapted himself, too. I tried it on a cat with a broken spine. The cat instantly adapted itself to its injury so that the spine had time to knit and heal. Don't you see what a tremendous discovery this is?
Yes, perhaps.
But think what that would mean in accident cases. There'd be no further need for emergency surgery. Don't you see that? No matter what the condition, the injury to the body, a mere injection of my serum would permit the patient instantly to adapt himself to his condition and live.
No matter what his injury.
Exactly.
A serum made from insects.
From a common fruit fly, the most adaptable of living organisms. Tear off a wing and it grows a new one. Tear off its head even. Stick on a new head and that too will adhere in time. Think of imparting that same adaptability to human beings.
To grow new heads, it has merit.
Oh, now, please, Dr. Bach.
All right. No, seriously. I know this may be a great thing, but to permit you to experiment on a human being, no.
The most hopeless case you can find, Dr. Bach. Someone already doomed.
Well, if someday I discover in the hospital a hopeless case, understand it will be hopeless.
I understand.
And if the patient shall consent, then you will have your human guinea pig. Well, Dr. Scott, you requisition for yourself a hopeless case? Permit me. Here is your guinea pig.
What is it, Dr. Bach? TB?
Yeah, final stage. A matter of hours at most. She might have been attractive once, but now, hair like string, skinny like a skeleton, and flesh like wax.
Dr. Bach, you call this a fair test? I said hopeless, but I didn't say a corpse.
The lady is returning to life, such as it is. Well, Dr. Scott, I regret I have not a more palatable subject for your experiment, but this is what I promised, a hopeless case.
It's all right, I'll try it. Oh, what's your name?
Let me see, it's on the chart here. Zelas.
What was that?
Her name is Kira Zelas.
Oh.
Young lady.
Mm-hmm.
Permit me, I am Dr. Hermann Bach, Chief of the Staff, and I would like to introduce one of our promising young doctors.
He wants a date, I suppose.
Miss Zelas.
Hello, Brown Eyes.
What?
Your eyes are brown, aren't they?
Miss Zelas, you see, I've perfected this serum.
I like brown eyes.
This serum might help you, but it has never been tried on a human being before. I thought if you have no objection.
What are the odds?
Odds? Well, actually, you've everything to gain.
And nothing to lose.
Well?
How right you are. Okay. I'm all yours, Brown Eyes. Go ahead. Experiment away.
Dr. Bach, prepare her arm.
24 hours and she is yet alive. I would have said yesterday it would be impossible she should survive the night. So it is now 48 hours, and she actually seems better. But miracles such as this have happened before, and without serums. A week, and she still lives. Each day she becomes better. It is miraculous. The spots on her lungs are disappearing. Her coughing is stopped. There is no sign of bacillus in the culture. But even more amazing, a reaction to abrasions, skin punctures. Yesterday I took a blood specimen. Before I had 1 cc, the puncture in her skin had closed. Yes, in 30 seconds. The ordinary person, it takes a day, 2 days for it to heal. With Miss Kira Zelas, 30 seconds. It is amazing. Then I will not dispute it. Your serum has worked a miracle. She is cured. And now I must just discharge her from the hospital.
Oh, Dr. Bach,
You had forgotten that time must come sometime, But you see, I must. She is cured, and we need the room.
Well, yes, I know, but... Well, she should be under observation. We don't know what effects will show up.
I think, Daniel, you have an extraordinary interest in Miss Zelas. So I have asked her to come here. She is outside. Shall we invite her in?
Why, yes, of course.
Send in Miss Zelas, please. Now, observe well your miracle. Miss Zelas, come in, sit down.
Thanks. Oh, hello, Brown Eyes.
Hello, Kira.
I have sent for you, Miss Zelas, because I have good news. Today I am discharging you from the hospital.
Oh?
Yeah? Today you are free to go. That pleases you?
Madly.
Kira, you have people, perhaps? A family?
Aren't we all brothers and sisters under the skin?
Miss Zelas, I will come to the point. I wish to make you a proposition. I mean purely a scientific...
Yes, I know. An experiment.
Precisely. We are interested, Dr. Scott and I, to observe the further effects of the serum he gave you.
Yes.
I will pay you board and room and $30 a week. You will live at my house. I have a housekeeper, Mrs. Getz. She will look after you. Is that satisfactory?
Wouldn't I be a fool to say no?
Excellent, excellent.
Does, Brown Eyes live there, too?
No, but Dr. Scott will continue to have a clinical interest in the experiment. Miss Zelas, have no fear.
Good.
Yes. Well, it is now almost time for dinner. I will take you, Miss Zelas. You will join us, Dr. Scott?
Oh, yes, fine, Dr. Bach.
Very well. We shall meet outside in, 10 minutes?
That'll do me nicely.
Miss Zelas, you wish to wait here or maybe outside? A little fresh air?
I think I could use a little air.
Good. There is a little park across the street. You will find benches there to rest. We will meet at the front entrance in 10 minutes.
Dr. Bach, what is it? What's the matter?
Some sort of commotion across the street in the park. Oh. Where is Kira?
Well, I thought she'd be here with you.
Perhaps she is still over there in the park.
What do you suppose? Come on! Dr. Bach, it is Kira. Kira, let me through, please. Kira! Let us through, please. Officer, what's happened? What is this? Why are you holding this lady?
You know this woman?
Yes, of course. What is it? What's the matter here?
Plenty. Your lady friend here merely walks up to an old gent about 60 or so, picks up a nice hefty rock, and beats his brains out.
Officer, there must be some awful mistake.
Yeah, her mistake. Cold-blooded murder. Come on, sister. There's the wagon.
But, officer,
you'd better come along, too, mister. Mona Lisa here don't seem to be much in the mood for talking. We'll need someone to tell the desk sergeant her name.
This is terrible, seeing you here like this. I've got to get you out of here. I've got to help you.
It's not so bad when you're here.
Well, listen, this is all a terrible mistake. If you'll tell me what...
Mistake?
Well, yes, of course. Kira, you didn't kill that man.
If I said yes, what would you do?
Why, I'd tell him you weren't responsible. I'd tell him about the serum. I'd tell him it was my fault, that somehow the serum I gave you caused your mind to snap, something that would be the only explanation.
You'd do this? Ruin your career, no doubt? Just to save me?
Well, yes, of course I would.
And what would they do to me?
I don't know exactly. Put you away, under observation, something. Kira,
Then my answer's no, I did not kill the man. Oh, don't worry, I won't be convicted. I'll take care of myself very well. I'll, as you say, adapt myself to the situation.
All right, now, Mr. Salvatore, continue. Tell the court in your own words precisely what happened.
This old man, you see, is buying circus peanuts from me every day. For months, every day. And this one day, he pull out his pocketbook, his billfold, and I'm a look, it's stuffed with the bills, the big money. He says, Salvatore, can I make a change for $20? And I'm a laugh. I'm say, mister, I'm a peanut man. You take the peanuts and you pay me tomorrow. He said, thank you very much. He turned around, and then here's this dame, she pick up, it's a great big stone, and it conks him. It's a murder.
I object, Your Honor.
Objection sustained. Continue, Mr. Salvatore.
She nothing more to say. This dame, she bend over and she reach in his pocket to take the money. I'm a grabber. People come, police come, and
Mr. Salvatore, can you describe this young lady to us?
I remember her very well. She's skinny. She's ain't no beauty, you know. Got the black suit, the brown hair, eyes, don't know, dark, you know, maybe brown or blue.
Thank you, Mr. Salvatore. Your witness.
Mr. Salvatore, you say that the young lady, the assailant, had brown hair and dark eyes?
Brown hair, dark blue eyes.
And do you see the young lady in the courtroom?
She's a sit right to...
What's the matter, Mr. Salvatore? Are you pointing at Miss Zalis? May I ask the defendant to rise, please? Miss Zalis, will you kindly remove your hat, please?
Dr. Bach, look. Her hair, it's become the color of aluminum.
Your Honor, I submit that this defendant does not possess dark hair, nor, if you will observe, dark eyes. I am prepared, therefore, to submit a lock of her hair to be tested by any chemist the court may appoint to prove that the pigmentation is entirely natural. Now, Mr. Salvatore, do you still say that this is the young lady you saw in the park?
I think she's...
Is she?
Mamma mia, no!
Good Lord, Dr. Bach, that hair of hers. Did you see it? It was the color of aluminum. She was beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. And so she has been acquitted. They call her innocent. Daniel, I am a convert to your great principle of adaptability. But where will it end? You start with an ideal, and you wake up to discover you have created a monster.
But she was acquitted. It was all a mistake.
You really believe that?
Dr. Bach.
Yes, Mrs. Gritz?
She is healed, Doctor.
She?
That woman in the newspaper.
Ah.
Kira is here?
You said she was so poor, such a church mouse. Ah, you should see her.
What do you mean, Mrs. Gritz?
So fine, so great a lady.
I'll go and talk to her, Dr. Bach.
Hello, Brown Eye.
Hello, Kira.
Aren't you glad to see me?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Oh, congratulations on your acquittal today. We were there.
I know. I sensed it. I was hurt that you didn't come up and congratulate me.
Well, there were photographers who went... Well, Kira, your hair, it's black again.
Isn't it always? Don't you like it?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. It's beautiful.
Am I beautiful, Brown Eyes?
Very, very beautiful.
And are you happy to have me back? I always did like brown eyes.
Kira.
Tell me, how do you like my new clothes? My gown?
Why, it's very nice.
Nice. It's exquisite. I have a whole new wardrobe, hats, shoes.
Well, how, Kira? Where did you get the money?
Money?
You only had $3 when you left the hospital.
Oh. So I did.
Kira. Kira, you did take that wallet from the old man.
Why, naturally.
You did murder him.
Certainly. Oh, come. Don't look so shocked. Oh, I'm tired, Brown Eyes. You'll excuse me if I appropriate Dr. Bach's room. Good night.
Dr. Bach, we've got to do something.
Yes, Daniel, we do.
I haven't slept a wink all night trying to think of what we can do.
I've been here in the laboratory all night. I think I know.
What?
This serum of yours, it has accomplished a miracle, yeah. It is the adaptive ultimate. Changes that take the ordinary person days or months, she accomplishes instantly. She walks into the sunlight, she is tan. She walks out, she is pale again. When she is in danger, she adapts. She could survive the electric chair, the hangman's noose. She was in danger in the courtroom. She adapted. She changed her whole appearance at will, so she could not be identified.
Yes, I know.
Oh, you must not blame yourself. You could not know what you were creating. Now, this morning, I operated on one of your guinea pigs. I found this. The pineal gland hypertrophied. That is what causes it.
Well, then we could operate and maybe change her back.
Yeah, but she can adapt to anything, anesthesia included. How can we operate? Unless we get her consent.
Well, perhaps.
No, you are dreaming, Daniel. Do you really think she will consent now? Now that she has power? Perhaps more power than any human being ever possessed before. Power for evil. And she has already killed one man, remember.
But if we watched her, Doctor, kept her under guard...
Yeah, again, Pygmalion falls in love with his Galatea. No, Daniel, no. She must be destroyed. We must perform surgery at once.
But she'll die.
She will go back to what she was, with but a few hours to live. It is best, then.
Yes, I suppose so.
Yes, Mrs. Getz? Thank you.
What is it, Dr. Bach?
And so perhaps she is also telepathic. She sensed what we were about to do, and now it is too late.
What do you mean?
Miss Zelas is gone. Disappeared.
Dr. Bach, did you call for me?
Yeah, Daniel. Have you seen the evening paper yet?
No, not yet.
Then here. After 2 months, there is news of our Miss Kira Zelas.
What? Let me see that. Where? Oh. The surprise of the evening was the appearance of John Callan, Ambassador at Large, Diplomat Extraordinary, the man slated to head the forthcoming World Atomic Energy Control Commission. Mr. Callan, one of Washington's confirmed bachelors, squired the gorgeous Kira Zelas.
You see? She has become gorgeous, our Fab little urchin.
Miss Zalis, the dazzling beauty who affects a dark wig by day and a white one at night.
A great power of adaptability, courtesy of Dr. Daniel Scott. Dark by day, white by night.
Well, what are we going to do, Doctor?
Do?
The World Atomic Energy Control, the one real hope of world peace. Curie isn't interested in peace.
What can we do? Surgery, I know. But politics? We must wait and see. We must wait and see how far your mad woman will go.
Washington is agog with rumors about the romance between glamorous Kira Zalis and John Callan, the newly appointed head of the World Atomic Energy Control, one of the most powerful political figures on the globe.
John Callan leaves tomorrow for the crucial atomic energy conferences at Geneva, Switzerland, and sailing on the same boat as the exotic Miss Kira Zalis, with whom his name has been frequently linked. Rumor has it Miss Zalis acts as a sort of unofficial assistant to Mr. Callan, thus making her one of the most important women in the world.
Glamorous, exotic. Of such fragile stuff is world peace fashioned these days, Daniel.
I wonder what she intends to...
Somebody calling at dinner time?
Oh, sit still, Dr. Buck. I'll see who it is. Yes? Kira.
Hello, Brown Eyes. May I come in?
Why, yes, of course.
Oh, our exotic guinea pig,
Good evening, Dr. Buck. I'm not intruding.
Of course not.
You're very kind. John and I... You've read about Mr. Callan?
Oh, yes.
We're leaving for Europe tomorrow for the conferences in Switzerland.
Yes.
He had a series of meetings to attend tonight, so I told him I would stay here.
You're staying here?
I took the liberty of saying you were my uncle, Dr. Buck.
Oh.
John will call for me in the morning on his way to the airport. We're leaving at 8. I do hope I'm not too late for dinner.
Not at all. In fact, we're very happy to have you here. Aren't we, Dr. Scott?
Kira.
Hello, Brown Eyes.
What are you doing out here in the garden?
Waiting for you.
You knew I'd follow you?
Of course. Have you missed me?
You know I have. Oh, Kira, listen to me. Do you love this John Callan?
When I want love, I'll come to you, Brown Eyes.
Well, then why? What is it, money?
Money? I don't need money anymore. What does an empress need with money?
Empress?
That's what you've made me. The most powerful woman the world's ever known. John Callan. He's supposed to be important. But in my hands, he's clay, to be molded as I wish. Do you see what that means?
Yes, I see. You hold the fate of the world in your hands.
Exactly. To do with as I want. And I shall. Would you like to rule the world with me, Brown Eyes?
Kira, you're evil.
What is good? What's evil? Come here, Brown Eyes. Look at me. And forget such things.
Are you asleep, Dr. Buck?
Sleep? Who can sleep?
Kira's insane, Doctor. Do you know what she's planning to do?
I've heard.
Oh. Maybe we could get to this Callan.
And then what?
Well, if we could talk to him, tell him...
Tell him what? Didn't I talk to you? Would you listen? Where is she?
Oh, she's gone to sleep.
I tell you, there's only one remedy, surgery. It is the only hope.
But she'll never consent to surgery, Dr. Bach, and she's probably immune to anesthesia.
Maybe not all anesthesia.
What?
Downstairs in my laboratory, I have a tank of ethyl chloride.
You mean operate here tonight?
Ah, tonight. Right here, where she sleeps. Now stop staring down at her. Pour the anesthesia onto the cone. Hurry.
That ought to be enough to anesthetize an elephant.
Onto the face, quickly.
All right.
Stand tightly. Hold it close.
I'm trying. She's forcing my hands. I can't hold her. She's too strong.
Oh. Did you think you could make me unconscious? You were going to operate on me. Is that what you were planning? Or were you going to slit my throat with that scalpel? Look,
Kira, don't!
There. So see, I plunge your knife into my heart. I withdraw it. And the wound is healed. Now, go away, both of you. I want to sleep. John will be calling for me at 8.
In the morning. 2.5 hours more and she will leave. And the world will be one step nearer chaos. We are scientists, then. We have a responsibility to civilization. We must find a way to destroy this...
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide?
It's a fundamental biological law. No human can survive in its own waste product. Carbon dioxide is a human waste. Dr. Bach, if we could fill the room where she's sleeping with carbon dioxide, she'd become unconscious. You could operate, Ken. Who are you calling?
The hospital. I will have them send over 2 tanks of carbon dioxide.
Do you think it should work, Ken?
We must try anything. Hello, this is Dr. Bach. Let me talk to surgery. Now hurry, it is an emergency. Is ready. You sealed the crack under the door?
Yes.
You closed the window?
Yes.
All right. Let us start the gas. Now then, through the transom above the bedroom door, you will be able to observe her reactions. You placed the lighted candle inside the room?
Yes, Doctor. I left a candle on the table.
Observe it carefully.
All right.
When it goes out, your Miss Kira Zelas should be unconscious. Then, can you see inside the room from up there?
Yes, Doctor. Candle is flickering, Doctor. Wait. No, it's still flickering. It's just gone out, Doctor.
Excellent. It means there is now a concentration of 8 or 10% carbon dioxide. The average person would long since be dead.
Doctor?
Yeah, then, what?
Oh, just a minute.
Yes?
She's breathing much more quickly now, convulsively.
Changed her breathing?
She's opening her eyes now.
What?
She's getting up.
Getting up?
She's staggering. Holding her throat, Doctor. She's gasping. She's moving toward the door. She's trying to unlock the...
So.
She's seen me. She's trying to...
Well, what is it?
She's collapsed. It's over.
Yes?
How do you do, Dr. Bach? I'm John Callan.
Yes, of course. Come in.
I haven't taken you away from anything.
Oh, no. We were performing some surgery, my associate and I. I have a miniature surgery here for emergencies, and we have just finished.
Is that the patient on the table?
Yes.
Is she...
Yes, she is dead.
Too bad. Seedy-looking creature, wasn't she?
She was a charity case.
Well, I won't keep you. Is Kira here?
No, she changed her plans. She said there were some things she wished to do, and she would meet you at the airport.
Well, that's a woman's prerogative, isn't it, changing plans?
Yes.
I'd better get a move on, then. Nice to see you, Doctor. I hope we'll meet again when I return from Europe.
Yes, that will be nice, Mr. Callan, and good luck on your mission.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye. Well, Daniel, maybe we will get some sleep now. Ben?
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry, Doctor. I was daydreaming. She's lovely, isn't she?
Lovely. Yeah, then lovely. May she always be in your memory.
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. Today we have presented transcribed The Adaptive Ultimate by John Jessel, adapted for radio by Chet Spurgeon and Herb Futran, with editorial supervision by John Dunkel. starring Edgar Barrier as Dr. Bach and Stacey Harris as Dan Scott. Featured in the cast were Elsie Holmes, Frank Gerstle, Larry Dobkin, Tom Charlesworth, and Ann Morrison. Special music was arranged and played by Ivan Ditmars. Next week,
you are trapped in a dark, empty house. A girl lying dead at your feet. And surrounding you, closing in on you, are the band of killers, deadly enemies of your country and yourself. And they are intent on murdering you.
Next week, we escape with the famous story, Confidential Agent by Graham Greene. Be sure to tune in at this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. This is Roy Rowan speaking for CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Rice Checks and Wheat Checks, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Commander Corey is in a spaceship trying to contact Cadet Happy, who's in a spacesuit on the surface of Neptune's second moon.
Commander Corey calling Cadet Happy. Commander Corey calling Cadet Happy on Neptune number 2. Happy, disregard previous orders. You can break spacephone silence. Come in, Happy.
Cadet Happy here, Commander.
This is Urgent Hap. Gargot's men have orders to keep you from reaching the scout ship.
I know. Well, one of his gang's right behind me now with the blast gun.
Better surrender, Hap. There's nothing else you can do.
But, Commander, I've got to reach that ship. I'm low on oxygen. 5 minutes, all the air will be gone.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Test for Survival.
Hey, Space Patroller, it's getting kind of late and I'm getting kind of hungry. Hey, let's take time out right now for a big bowl full of rice checks.
Swell, Captain Two-Fellow. Rice checks. Tops with me.
Tops with me, too, Space Patroller. And it'll be tops with you, gang. Tops 3 ways. For taste, for size, for get up and go. There's one bowl. And here's one from me. Space Patrollers, when you fill up your own bowls with those neat triple toasted shredded rice biscuits, you're getting one spoonful after another of the easiest, tastiest bite-sized eating ever, because rice checks are tops for taste and size, and tops for get up and go, too. Mornings after you finish off a good, nourishing breakfast with rice checks, you'll see what I mean. You'll be right there with the right answers in school and the right scores in sports.
If you like whole wheat, try Wheat Checks. It's tops, too.
So look for rice checks and wheat checks in the red and white checkerboard packages with a picture of Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside.
And the swell free Space Patrol trading card inside.
Rice checks, wheat checks. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, Test for Survival. For 1,000 Space Patrol cadets, today marks the beginning of an adventure. These 1,000 cadets have been selected to take part in the annual survival test, to pit their skill and courage against the rigors and problems of outer space and the simulated opposition of an enemy force. Of all the cadets chosen for these tests, it's safe to say that only one is disappointed with the assignment. That solitary individual is Cadet Happy. Glumly, he sits in Commander Corey's central office at Space Patrol headquarters, staring at his special orders.
Oh, all the times for this to happen.
Bad news, Happy?
The worst. I'm on the list for the survival tests. Now I can't go with you to Pluto. Unless you could sort of...
No.
I didn't think you would, sir. Well, it's up to me to take my turn, I guess.
What kind of assignment did you draw, Happy?
A real cream puff deal. Here's what the orders say. Cadet Happy will pilot Scout ship T681 to Neptune moon number 2, landing in sector D4 at 0800 hours Universal Star Time. Upon landing, the ship will be considered inoperative, including all weapons and spaceophone equipment.
Oh, you're to act as though the ship were knocked out of action.
Yes, sir. And then it says, you will attempt to reach the communications outpost in sector F9 by 2200 hours without revealing your presence to enemy forces concealed between the two sectors.
Sounds interesting.
Spaceophone silence will be maintained throughout the entire operation. Enemy forces will be provided with special long-range ray guns that will register hits on the sensitized outer coating of the spacesuit. Big deal.
Sounds like fun, huh?
Fun? It's kids' stuff. Here I'll be sneaking around craters playing hide-and-seek with other cadets that are pretending they're the enemy. What's the good of it?
Don't get the idea this is just a game, Happy. You'll be testing new equipment. What you and the other cadets learn in this survival test might easily help to save a life someday.
I suppose so, Commander, but... Gee, if I could go to Pluto with you, I could have some real excitement.
I'm not looking for any big adventure on this trip, Happy.
You're not? But if this Steve Hegdorn is as tough as Morton says he is, and if he's part of the Cobra gang...
If things go the way I plan, Hegdorn won't have time to get tough. You see, when I walk into Hegdorn's office in Pluto City, I'll be in civilian clothes. He'll assume I'm one of Morton's men coming to make the regular protection payoff. When he accepts the money, I'll take it in for extortion.
And maybe get a line on how we can find Gargoth.
Right. By then you'll be through with your survival test, and I promise you that you can help get Gargoth and the rest of his Cobra gang.
Okay, Commander. But I still wish I was going with you instead of to this garden party on Neptune's moon.
The training command doesn't plan garden parties, Hap. These tests are going on all over the solar system. Every detail has been worked out by Space Patrol officers who have been through the mill. You can be sure they've planted some obstacles to take the cockiness out of anyone who doesn't take the test seriously.
Oh, I'll be on the alert, Commander.
Good. Obey every order to the letter. And good luck, Happy.
Thank you, Commander, and same to you.
The Zenith Consultant Service occupies a small suite of offices in the Phobos building in Lowell City on the planet Mars. A curious observer might notice that a peculiar assortment of people pass in and out of the office during the course of a week. But then a consultant service would be expected to welcome various types of people in need of consultation. One would never suspect that the Zenith Consultant Service was a device to hide the operations of a syndicate of criminals, a respectable front for Emil Gargoth, leader of the Cobra gang. At this moment, Gargoth is consulting with Rex Kralin, who has just arrived from Terra.
You're very enterprising, Kralin. But frankly, I don't see how this schedule of Space Patrol survival tests is of any interest to me.
I just thought you ought to know that these cadets are likely to pop up anywhere for the next few days.
What do I care about a lot of rookies? Let them play their games.
But, Mr. Gargoth, there'll be 4 units crawling all over Neptune moon number 2.
Moon number 2?
Now, look here at problem 9. They picked an area right near our underground storage station.
All the desolate places in the universe, they had to pick this one.
Of course, the station is well hidden, but just by chance they might stumble across it.
Yes. And we've got thousands of credits worth of stolen goods there.
There might be time to get it off the moon before the Space Patrol tests begin.
I don't have the ships available. What kind of activity is going on in that sector, Kralin?
Here's a chart of the area. The cadet will start here, at this point. Try to work his way to here. There'll be about 20 men scattered all through here, in the craters, acting as enemy opposition.
Oh, I see. They're chasing all over this region, trying to capture that one cadet.
That's right. Actually, they won't have to capture him to put him out of the game. They've got a special ray gun that projects a pinpoint beam. It's harmless, of course, but it produces a photochemical effect on the spacesuit. The suits in the test have a thin coating sensitive to those particular rays.
All right. If he gets out of the game early, they'll go home. Is that it?
Well, yes, those in that particular problem will.
Then let's hope a dumb cadet draws that sector.
It isn't going to work that way. That assignment goes to Commander Corey's sidekick, Cadet Happy.
Kralin, this is the opportunity I've been waiting for. We'll capture Cadet Happy, and then we can make Corey come to terms.
Capture Corey's cadet? But, Mr. Gargoth, that's...
It'll be easy. I'll have a ship drop you off on Neptune's second moon before the cadet gets there. You can grab him before any of the other space patrollers see him.
Me?
Oh, you're the ideal man for the job. You were in the Space Patrol once, weren't you?
Before I get kicked out.
Here's your chance to get even. Now listen. Here's the way we'll work.
Those who are forced to deal with Steve Hegdorn on the planet Pluto regard him as a man dangerous to trifle with. Surrounded by brutal thugs, Hegdorn exacts tribute from law-abiding citizens and from lesser racketeers alike. Too intimidated to report to the Space Patrol, his victims continue to pay the increasing demands of Hegdorn. Those who live in dread of Steve Hegdorn would be greatly astonished to learn that there is one man in the universe that Hegdorn fears.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Gargot. Truly I am.
Your being sorry, Hegdorn, doesn't make up for the fact that you're 5,000 credits short.
I know. It's that Morton account. I got my men out now trying to locate Morton. He may have left Pluto City.
That's your problem. I put you in charge of my affairs on Pluto because I thought you could handle things efficiently.
I appreciate that, Mr.
Do you think I have time to get on the space phone to find out why you can't collect from your clients? There's no place in the Cobra gang for incompetence, Hegdorn. If you permit Morton to get away with this, others will try it.
I'll get the 5,000 from Morton, I promise.
And get this, Hegdorn. If the Pluto quota is short by as much as 1 credit next month, you're through. Cobra out.
Oakes, come in here.
Yes, Mr. Hegdorn.
Have you found Morton yet?
No, sir, but the boys...
I'm not interested what the boys think. Find Morton and get that 5,000 credits. There is no place in this organization for incompetence. Now get out.
Elsewhere, a small scout ship has just landed in Sector D4 on Neptune's second moon. Out of the ship steps Cadet Happy in a spacesuit. In his hand, he carries a ray rifle, a harmless training weapon capable only of making a tiny dot on especially sensitized objects. As he walks across the craggy surface of the satellite, Happy reports his actions into a compact micro-tape recorder that's part of his spacesuit paraphernalia.
Cadet Happy assigned to survival test problem 9, Neptune 2. Orders of procedure have been followed exactly. I landed the scout ship in Sector D4 at 0800 hours. It is now 0803. My suit spaceophone is turned off. I am now carefully proceeding south by southwest towards Sector E10. So far, no sightings of enemy units. Oxygen pressure normal. External temperature 203 degrees below zero. Internal suit temperature plus 68. Normal.
In Pluto City, a studious-looking young man carrying a document case enters the office of Steve Hegdorn. Even Buzz Corey's close associates would have to look twice to recognize the Space Patrol Commander-in-Chief. Not only is he wearing civilian clothes, but he has modified his confident stride and allowed his straight shoulders to assume a scholarly slump. Looking up from his desk, Hegdorn scowls at his visitor in an intimidating manner.
Yes, what is it?
I'm here representing Mr. Morton.
Oh, so you're representing Mr. Morton, huh? You're his lawyer, I suppose.
Well, not exactly.
Well, if Morton sent you here under the impression that I'll dicker with you over his fees, he's mistaken.
I've got the money here, Mr. Hegdorn.
Oh, well, that's different. Let's have it.
Well, 5,000 credits, isn't it?
That's right. And you can just inform Mr. Morton that he'd better pay up on time after this.
Here's the money. Count it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000. Right. Now get out.
I'd like a receipt.
Receipt? I get it. Morton wants to be sure you gave the money to me, huh? All right. I'll just make it out for services rendered to Harvey Morton. There you are.
Thanks. Now, Hegdorn, you're under arrest.
Under arrest? What for?
Extortion and intimidation. Here's my identification.
So you're Commander Corey. I was expecting you, but not till later.
Usually I prefer a more direct approach to criminals, Hegdorn, but you've got your victims so intimidated I had to get evidence on you personally. Come along.
Get him up, Corey.
Corey, the man behind you with the ray gun is Bull Oakes. He handles my rougher assignments. I advise you to do as he says.
Get him up.
Sure. Now, boss, help me. Let go of that gun. Hold him, Oakes.
Corey's quick as a cat. Nearly broke my arm. You haven't slugged him, Mr.
Stop
Hegdorn.
babbling, Oakes. What kind of a bodyguard are you when I have to rescue you?
How did I know he was going to turn on me?
Keep an eye on him. If he tries to get up, slug him. I'm going to spaceophone the Cobra and tell him I captured Commander Corey.
On Neptune's second moon, Cadet Happy cautiously works his way along the shallow fissure. from time to time reporting his progress and observations into the microtape recorder built into his spacesuit.
0857 hours. The black shadow of the mountain extends across this fissure 100 yards ahead. When I reach that shadow, I've just sighted an enemy scout. He's coming toward me. Apparently he doesn't see me because he's making no effort to keep covered. He'll be an easy target for the ray rifle. It's a shame not to warn him, but rules are rules.
Look, Cadet, put away that silly ray rifle and get out of that ditch. Your survival test is over.
This must be one of those special obstacles Commander Corey warned me about. This fellow may be an officer trying to trick me into breaking space-phone silence.
I'm telling you, Cadet Happy, this isn't a game. Maybe this will prove it to you.
Smoking rockets, that was no ray rifle. He's got a real blast gun. That shot chipped off a hunk of rock 3 feet away.
There, Cadet. That ought to prove to you I'm not with the Space Patrol. Your make-believe enemies are 5 miles away. Now throw that useless ray rifle down and come with me. Oh, and if you're wondering what's going to happen to you, well, that's up to the Cobra.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. This is Dick Tufeld in St. Louis reporting on the twin-jet Air Force fighter, the McDonnell Voodoo XF-88A. In a moment, we'll hear from the noted test pilot who flies this plane, Phil Houghton. Speed of the Voodoo is a military secret, but it's plenty fast. Wingspan is 40 feet, length 55, weight 10 tons. And now, Phil Houghton, recorded this morning at Lambert Airfield.
After seeing the Voodoo, I guess you know why I like my job. There's one thing about it, though. A test pilot has to stay in good condition, get lots of sleep, and eat good, healthy food. That's why I like rice checks and wheat checks for breakfast. They've got plenty of energy in them, and they really taste swell. I think you'll like them, too.
No other cereal, puffed or flaked, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. So do as Phil Houghton, J. Ray Donahue, Jr., and other top test pilots do. Make your cereals rice checks and wheat checks. And now back to our Space Patrol adventure, Test for Survival. Emil Gargoth, leader of the criminal syndicate known as the Cobra Gang, has learned that Cadet Happy is taking part in the Space Patrol survival tests on Neptune's second moon. Knowing that the test rules prohibit the use of suit spacephones, Gargoth sent one of his men, Rex Kralin, to capture Happy. Armed only with a harmless ray rifle, Happy was powerless to defend himself against Kralin's deadly blast gun and submitted to capture. Meantime, on the planet Pluto, Commander Corey has been overpowered by 2 other members of Gargoth's gang, Steve Hegdorn and Bull Oakes. Right now, Hegdorn is in a private space cruiser, heading sunward from Pluto, with Commander Corey lying on the deck of the control cabin, securely bound.
Hegdorn calling Cobra. Hegdorn aboard cruiser P532 calling Cobra. Hegdorn here, waiting for further instruction. Come in, Cobra.
Cobra here. Go ahead.
Where do you want me to take Corey?
Send a vector toward Mars. I'll give you further instructions later.
All right, Mr. Gargoth.
Have you got yourself covered back on Pluto?
Sure. I left Oaks there to destroy all our records. Don't worry, there won't be anything to involve you.
See that there isn't.
You can depend on me, Mr. Gargoth. Incidentally, I got that 5,000 credits mortar node.
Destroy it. You fool, don't you realize Corey marked it so the Space Patrol could trace it?
I guess that's right. Oh, incidentally, Corey's acting pretty stubborn. He says he won't tell you a thing.
Oh, he'll talk all right.
That's what you think, Gargoth.
For your information, Commander, one of my men has captured Cadet Happy.
You're lying.
Am I? Right now, your cadet is in an underground hideout on Neptune's moon number 2. He was captured during the survival test. He'll talk all right, Corey. Or something very unpleasant will happen to Cadet Happy.
In the Cobra Gang's underground hideout on Neptune number 2, Gargoth's agent, Kralin, holds Happy at the point of a blast gun. Both men are still in their spacesuits, but with their face pieces open.
So you're one of the Cobra Gang, are you?
That's right, Cadet. My name's Rex Kralin. Gargoth finds my knowledge of the Space Patrol quite useful.
Yeah? How do you know anything about the Space Patrol?
I used to belong to the organization. I was dishonorably discharged when I was unable to explain how some of my buddies' belongings were in my possession.
A thief. A rotten thief.
Where did your honesty get you, Cadet? You're in a hopeless spot. Me, I'm sitting pretty.
Oh, are you? There are 20 space patrollers in this sector of the moon trying to find me. They'll keep searching until they do.
And they're armed with harmless ray rifles. I've got a blast gun.
Cobra to Kralin. Cobra, calling Kralin.
Yeah, there's the boss. Now, you stay where you are. Remember, I'm watching you every second. Kralin here. Go ahead, Cobra.
Is everything under control there?
Perfectly, but how do I get off this moon?
Take the cadet and work your way back to scout ship be landed in Sector D4. And listen, don't let anything happen to him. I want him back here alive.
Okay, but suppose he gets tough.
Put him to sleep with a cosmic ray gun if you have to. Then carry him to the ship. I want Commander Corey to know the cadet is alive, so he'll do everything to keep him that way.
I get it. When Corey finds out we got the cadet, he'll come to terms.
He already knows it, Kralin. And what's more, we've got Corey, too.
What?
Hagdorn got him on Pluto. Corey's on his way to Mars right now in Hagdorn's cruisers.
Hey, that's great. Now we got... Hey, come back here.
What's the matter?
That cadet made a break for the airlock.
You blundering fool, go after him. You've got to stop him before he gets to the ship.
You aren't so cocky now, are you, Corey? Now that we've got Cadet Happy.
If anything happens to him, Hagdorn, I'll get you and Gargant. It's the last thing I do.
The smart thing for you to do is to forget those threats and give Gargant the information he wants.
Cobra to Hagdorn. Cobra calling Hagdorn.
Hagdorn here. Go ahead, Cobra.
Quick, Hagdorn. What's your position?
Near the Neptune orbit. Why?
That idiot Kralin let the cadet get away.
What?
As he's out of the hideout and probably headed for the scout ship. How long will it take you to reach Neptune moon number 2?
Oh, I'd say about 15 minutes, maybe less.
Then change your vector. You've got to make sure the cadet doesn't get to that ship.
But, boss, we can't land a ship there during those survival tests. Those space patrollers will spot us.
No, they won't break spacephone silence except in an emergency. And by the time they realize there is an emergency, the cadet will be finished.
What do you mean?
The cadet won't surrender to Kralin and blast him with the space torpedo. Get away before those men on maneuvers know what happened.
Listen to me, Gargant. If anything happens to
You listen to me, Corey. Want to save the cadet, do what I tell you. Get on the space phone and order Happy to surrender to Kralin. Understand?
All right, Gargant.
Hagdorn, switch to the space patrol frequency. I'm sure Corey will tell you how.
Okay, Mr. Gargant.
And watch him. Don't let him try any tricks. Cobra out.
All right, Corey. What's the frequency?
672.3 megacycles.
Stand up, then. I'll set it. Go ahead.
Commander Corey calling Cadet Happy. Commander Corey calling Cadet Happy on Neptune number 2. Happy, disregard previous orders. You can break spacephone silence. Happy, can you read me?
Cadet Happy here, Commander.
This is urgent, Hap. Gargant's men have orders to keep you from reaching the scout ship.
I know. One of his gang is right behind me with a blast gun.
Better surrender. There's nothing else you can do.
But, Commander, I've got to reach that ship. I'm low on oxygen. In 5 minutes, all the air will be gone. Kralen's firing at me.
Hit the dirt, Hap.
That's enough, Corey.
Darn you dirty rat, if my hands weren't tied.
Go ahead. Pull. Pull on those ropes. They'll only get tighter. Go ahead. Pull. You can't break them.
So I couldn't break them. Don't reach for that gun. I said don't reach for it. Just lie there and don't cause any trouble. Going to get this ship to Neptune number 2.
With his oxygen supply getting lower with every breath, Cadet Happy crawls across the rough, barren rocks of Neptune's second moon, trying to keep within the inky black shadows. Steadily, Rex Kralin advances toward him, blast gun in hand. A few hundred yards away, the scout ship rests where Happy landed it many hours before. A few steps more, and Kralin stands over the exhausted cadet. Carefully, Kralin adjusts the power control of his spacesuit transmitter, limiting it to the range of less than 50 feet.
I heard what you told the commander. Your oxygen is about gone. You'll never be able to make it to the ship under your own power, so I'm going to have to carry you. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm going to turn your transmitter volume down, just in case. If you're hoping any of your pals on maneuvers are going to come to your rescue, forget it. Even with you on my back, I can make it to the ship in a few minutes. Now, look, Cadet, you're about gone, so don't try to give me any trouble when I lift you.
Oh, okay.
All right, now. Hey, where's that light coming from?
A spaceship.
A private cruiser. That must be Hagdorn. And he's looking for us. This is a break. And Won't have to lug you to the scout ship after all. Look at him come. Hector sure knows how to handle the ship. Nice landing. It's only a few yards to the cruiser. Think you can walk it with a little help?
I'll try.
Now, come on your feet. This is a break. Now we won't have to worry about having to get rid of that scout ship. Well, the hatch is opening. Say, Hegdorn's coming to help me. Hegdorn, can you read me? Hegdorn, use your spaceophone. It's okay. There's nobody within 5 miles of us. That's not Hegdorn.
That's right, Craylan.
Commander! I'm warning you, Commander. Don't come any closer. The cadet gets in charge from this blast gun.
Craylan, listen. We've got to get Happy into the ship. He's nearly out of oxygen.
The decision is up to you, Commander. Let me get to the cruiser, then you get the cadet to the scout ship.
Can't you see there isn't time?
And it's just too bad for the cadet. I'll finish you with a blast gun if you take another step. Cadet, let go of me.
Drop that gun, Craylan. I've got a sharp sliver of rock in my glove. How would you like to have it jammed into your spacesuit?
Let go of me.
Drop the gun, or you'll be in the same fix I am.
You haven't the strength left.
Give me that gun, Craylan.
All right, I'll get Happy to the cruiser.
Go on, pick him up.
Sure, okay.
I'll get moving.
Inside the cruiser, Happy quickly revives. With a fresh oxygen bottle attached to his spacesuit, he helps Commander Corey transfer Craylan and Hegdorn to the scout ship. Now, with Happy at the controls, they've just blasted off from Neptune's second moon and are headed for Terra with their 2 prisoners.
Either of them will talk, Happy. We know Gargoth is in Lowell City on Mars.
Yeah, the brainograph will clear that up.
Yes, but too late.
How do you mean, sir?
Cobra calling Hegdorn. Cobra to Hegdorn. Cobra to Craylan. Craylan! Either of you answer immediately.
That's what I mean. Gargoth won't wait around long enough to find out what happened to his
Craylan!
man.
Hegdorn! I suppose you're listening, Corey. Well, I don't suppose I'll be hearing from Craylan and Hegdorn. So would you please inform them that their services are no longer required? Cobra out.
Are you going to answer him, sir?
Not now. What I have to say to Gargoth, I'll say to his face, and that day will come sooner than he thinks.
Yes, sir. Smoking rockets.
What's the matter, huh?
I never did get to that communications outpost. I flunked the survival test.
Oh, I'm sure you can prove you passed it.
I can? How?
The best proof in the universe. You're alive.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. How will you have them, Space Patrollers? Out of the bowl with cream and sugar, or out of the box for snacks? Well, in case you haven't guessed, I'm talking about rice checks and wheat checks. Tops any way you eat them, any time you eat them. Tops 3 ways. 1 for taste, 2 for size, 3 for get up and go. Rice checks. Triple golden toasted shredded rice biscuits. Hollow inside, so they fill right up with milk or cream, and plenty luscious eating. Wheat checks. Good whole wheat. Super rich in action energy. The kind of action energy that made Buzz Corey Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. Oh, you'll love wheat checks from the first to the last delicious bite. And remember, gang, checks are made in that modern, bite-sized design for the easiest, breeziest, tastiest eating ever. So, Space Patrollers, this morning, tomorrow morning, every morning, have yourself a good, nourishing Space Patrol breakfast with rice checks or wheat checks in the red and white checkerboard packages with the full-color picture of Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside and the neat, free Space Patrol trading card inside. Rice checks, wheat checks, tops for taste, tops for size, tops for get up and go. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are trying to escape from a mansion on the planet Venus, where they're held prisoners by Emil Gargoth, leader of the Cobra Gang. Suddenly, Happy moves toward a large cabinet and opens it.
Wow, is this a break, Commander? Weapons, ray guns, blasters, paralyzers.
Take a couple of ray guns, Happy.
Hey, something just made me go to this cabinet, a real strong hunch.
No, Hap, take the ray guns. Those are blasters. Put them back.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm not arguing, sir, but wouldn't the sight of a blaster have more effect on Gargoth?
All right, it doesn't matter. Let's get careful, Happy. You're pointing the gun right at me. Lower your arm.
I can't. Something's controlling my movements.
Happy, lower that gun.
I'm trying to. Commander, my finger is squeezing the trigger, and I can't stop it.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, The Secret of Dr. Borodeck, when Rice Checks and Wheat Checks again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Ken Mayer, Norman Jolly, Baylor Kovach, and Stephen Robertson. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Rice Checks and Wheat Checks again present Space Patrol! Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program in your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast for Armed Forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.